this season. A Leicester side who are flying under the former Reds boss Brendan Rodgers, who need 3 more points to equal their best ever start to a top flight campaign. 5 wins in 8 was last achieved way back in the year 1930. As for Jurgen Klopp's men, though, they boast a perfect record of 21 points from a possible 21 so far this season. They've won their last 16 Premier League games across the end of last season and the start of this, and they're unbeaten in their last 24. It's first against third, and it promises to be an absolute belter here on Merseyside. Hogan, alongside me, how are you keeping, big man?
Very well, thank you. Looking forward to this game. I think, like you said, it is Liverpool's biggest test of the season so far. I think, even though that they've been unbelievable results-wise, I don't think they've been great performance-wise. The manager will want them to step that up. But today's a big test, and Leicester are one of the 2 or 3 teams I can see in the league going away to Liverpool, causing a real threat.
It's not something they've done for a while. The last 8 times they've met at Anfield in the Premier League, Liverpool have avoided defeat. I think it was the year 2000 that Leicester last came here and won. What do you think is their biggest chance, their biggest threat? Obviously, we'll get to the teams in a sec. Maddison is back.
Yeah.
Is that combination of he and Vardy still maybe the key one?
That's massive for me. I know today he might be playing a little bit wider, but Liverpool, they're playing a higher line this season, and with Vardy pacing behind, Maddison is arguably up there as the best in the Premier League at creating chances. So I think they have a real good chance today. I fancy them to get something from this game,
which would make it very, very interesting league-wise, with Man City back in action, of course, on Sunday, and trying to reclose that gap to no matter how many points it might be. From Liverpool's point of view, as you say, it's not always been as compelling and compulsive perhaps as at times last season, but they do keep on winning, and 4-3 against Salzburg in the week in the Champions League was a kind of good example of that, I suppose.
Yeah, I think when they were 3-0 up, it looked like a run-of-the-mill game, but what the manager will be most pleased with is once it got back to 3-3, a lot of teams would have maybe folded and lost that game, or even just took a point. So to bounce back in a game was massive for them. But I just think they haven't hit the heights so far of last season for me, but the front 3 keep getting them out of trouble when it seems that the game is looking tight. But I think today, I just fancy Leicester today. I've been so impressed with them, the work that Rodgers has done since he's came in, and it'll be a really tough game.
And they can win Liverpool in different ways. The 4-3 then, last weekend 1-0 at Sheffield United, scratchy affair, goalkeeping error, and they nicked that one. So I guess they do have different ways to skin the proverbial cat, don't they, which is critical for any team who is trying to win a league, particularly when you've not done so since 1990.
Yeah, it's massive, and I think the main thing for them now is anywhere they go, the fear factor's there. I think home or away, teams are wary and worried of them before the game even starts, but I just think Leicester are one of those teams who won't have those worries. They'll have the respect, of course they will, but this will be a tough game, and the first goal will be massive because Leicester, if need be, they will be able to sit in and soak up some pressure. So it's going to be, the first 30 minutes are major. If Liverpool go a goal up in the first 30, then they can really kick on, but I think Leicester will dig in from there and then try and play on a break.
I think you're spot on with that, in that Brendan Rodgers has said in the build-up, we will go there with no fear, as Rodgers returns to the place, of course, that after a fair degree of success he left in October 2015 to be replaced by a certain Jurgen Klopp, whose house, by the way, he still lives in. We'll come to that story a bit later. Right, let's take you through the teams then. Liverpool making 2 changes to the side that beat Salzburg 4-3 in Europe in midweek. Those 2 changes see Dejan Lovren come in at the back, lesser spotted in terms of starting games, of course, this season so far, the Croatian, and James Milner comes into midfield as well. So a 4-3-3 formation with Gomez and Henderson, by the way, the players dropping out. Adrian remains in goal. Alisson not brought back as yet. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold, Lovren, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson at the back. Milner alongside Fabinho and Gigi Wijnaldum in midfield. And the Fab 3 start up front: Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, either side of Roberto Firmino. As for Leicester, 1 change to that 5-0 obliteration of Newcastle in the East Midlands last Sunday. That 1 change is the return of key playmaker James Maddison, who missed that game with a minor ankle knock. Ayoze Perez drops down to the bench. It's effectively a 4-1 formation of Kasper Schmeichel in goal. Back 4 of Ben Chilwell, Johnny Evans, Carlos Soyuncu and Ricardo Pereira, who's banging form at the moment. Wilfred Ndidi sits in front of that back 4. Maddison with Dennis Pryor, Yuri Tielemans and Harvey Barnes, all behind the red-hot Jamie Vardy up front. The benches: Keita, Gomez, Henderson, Lallana, Origi, Kelleher and Elliott for Liverpool. For Leicester, Justin, Morgan, Gray, Albrighton, Ward, Perez and Chowdhury. Our referee this afternoon on Merseyside is Chris Kavanagh. Hogan, we'll start with the Liverpool lineup first of all. What do you make of it?
I'm surprised to see Lovren come in. I know Joe Gomez didn't have the greatest of games in midweek, but Lovren hasn't exactly been a rock for Liverpool when he has played, so that could be a big test, especially against the pace of Vardy. Milner, I expect him to come in. I think his work rate on that side, it could cover with Trent Alexander flying forward and leaving Maddison in a bit of space, so maybe Milner's experience and know-how can get him out of trouble. The Leicester team is what I would have expected. They'll be delighted to have James Maddison back in the team. He's a massive player for them. But you look at the 4 fullbacks for me today on show, they're 4 of the best fullbacks you could wish to see. And the game could be decided down those sides.
Well, 2 of those 4, of course, have been shortlisted for the September Premier League Player of the Month, Ricardo Pereira and Trent Alexander-Arnold. It was an 8 expanded shortlist. Could see the fullbacks union gets 2, and we're going to be watching them, and the world can listen to them today. They're both really good players. One young and very highly rated, the other that bit older, who's just been under the radar, hasn't he, Ricardo Pereira? But he's been brilliant.
I was just going to say the same thing. I think in the last 12 months he's been up there in the best 2 or 3 right backs in the Premier League, and amazing scouting team Leicester have got. They seem to just find players year after year. And in the modern game, the fullbacks are the key for me, and that's no surprise why these 2 teams are doing well. You look at what Trent and Andy Robertson are doing at Liverpool.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable numbers, and Leicester will hope that their fullbacks can start producing the same sort of numbers.
Chilwell, of course, regular England squad member and sometimes the starting England number 3. Pereira, how he can't get into that Portuguese squad even. They put that question to him post-match after he scored and was outstanding against Newcastle. Didn't really know what to say. He was like, what can I do?
They must have some right-backs if he can't make the squad, I'll tell you that.
And Robertson, just outstanding, no question. Plus Alexander-Arnold, we know about that young man's huge ability. That just one of many excellent battle zones as we bring you our commentary game at 3 o'clock UK time, which is Liverpool versus Leicester. Tons of other matches taking place up and down the land, plus all the drama of Brighton Spurs earlier. We'll discuss that and much more in a couple of moments' time on Premier League Live.
I'm Sam Matterface and this is Game Day. TalkSport has your weekend covered as we give you a series of exclusive podcasts bringing you total coverage of the Premier League with a trio of top podcasts. On Thursday, myself and a legendary lineup of pros and pundits will preview the action to all 10 Premier League matches.
On Saturday, it's your verdict with me, Laura Woods, and Adrian Durham, bringing you all the reaction and the very best of the phone-in.
On Monday morning, it's the turn of the record book with me, Danny Kelly. I'll be joined by the very best guests as we look back at all the weekend's action, going down the odd tangent as well, all on the way.
Subscribe now to the Game Day podcast on Acast, Spotify or iTunes.
The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Hello, I'm Andy Goldstein, and of course you can hear me on the Sports Bar with Jason Cundy. We'll be taking all your calls, texts, tweets and emails on all the big talking points from the weekend's football. And remember, we bring you the very first look at the next day's back page headlines every single night.
The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Jim White and Natalie Sawyer. Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
I think it's all about involvement.
The new sound of mid-mornings on Talk Sport with Jim White and Natalie Sawyer.
Pulling your spot on with that.
News-breaking, globe-spanning, mid-morning football talk.
But just for me, I find it a little bit cringy.
Legal, honest, decent, fair.
Maybe that's going to be contentious, but that's what I do.
White and Sawyer.
You don't play, you don't get a medal.
Weekday mornings from 10.
I'm trying my best here.
On Talk Sport.
Hawksby and Jacobs, weekday afternoons from 1 on Talk Sport.
One Man Went to Moan was a great idea from one of the listeners for Andy's Edinburgh show, and we thought that would be a good bit in the show, but it's not a bit, it's the show, isn't it, really?
The afternoon radio show that's too cool for school. Hawksby and Jacobs.
He immediately got out a red card. We thought, oh, he's gone. Then he got out a yellow card.
Weekday afternoons from 1.
Then he got a 7 of diamonds out.
And then
on Talk Sport.
As we look down from the cradle of our hot air balloon, we wonder as a svelte ocean of stampeding gazelles gallop majestically earthbound towards a waterhole.
Something Yes, here, what to know? Lovely. Mine's a pint. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Your natural selection for the big game, bodacious banter and hookers. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay? I don't like listening to him, I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4 only on Talk Sport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Leicester City from Anfield. I'm your host Russell Hargreaves, alongside me the former West Ham, QPR and Toronto FC attacker Hogan Ephraim, and this is Premier League Live. We are about 18 minutes away from kickoff here at this historic stadium. The players just going through their final pre-match routines before they go back into the tunnel beneath us and then re-emerge into the heat of battle just ahead of the start of the match at 3 o'clock UK time. Loads of other matches to preview in a moment, taking place in England's top tier up and down the land, but massive drama and a huge story at the Amex in our first commentary of the day, Brighton against Spurs. To remind you what happened, Tom Rennie and Franny Benali.
Pascal Gross, who crosses with the right boot. It's slightly over him. Oh, it's been dropped by Hugo Lloris. It's a howler from the Tottenham goalkeeper again. And Neil Maupay has just headed in the most simple of chances. Now Lloris has gone down like he's injured, but there is no collision. There is no challenge.
Looks quite nasty. It could be a break, maybe a dislocation. It's a mistake in the first place for sure.
Cross comes into Connolly here. Saved by Gazzaniga. It's broken back to Aaron Connolly. And Aaron Connolly, the teenage forward, has found the back of the net from close range. Connolly's coming forward. Oh, what a goal! It is now officially a crisis for Tottenham Hotspur. Connolly into the corner for his second in this game. The Seagulls continue to sink Spurs 3-0.
Well, there you have it, a remarkable sequence of events. It ended then with a 3-0 win for Brighton, who needed one. They'd only won once in the league all season till then, and Spurs just going backwards at a rate of knots, and it looks like a very serious injury, I'm afraid to say, for their French international goalkeeper and skipper Hugo Lloris. What have you done? Says Alex Anastasiou on Twitter at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming into us on everything to do with Spurs and just this growing dilemma, this growing crisis at the new White Hart Lane. Tottenham now 6th in the table, 8 games played and just 11 points, so 10 points off the pace, having played a game more than Liverpool, who of course feature in just a few moments' time. Just in all sorts of trouble, Hogan Ephraim. What on earth is going on?
It's been a terrible start to the season, but this carries on from the back end of last year. They wasn't in great form either, so it's a long-standing problem. The manager he'll be worried about what's going on. I know they have contract situations with 4 of their main players, or 4 of their best players, I should say.
And then about another 3 or 4 decent ones as well, about 8 in the first team squad.
Yeah, so that's never good for any club, let alone a club that's supposed to be one of the biggest in the country. So he'll be very disappointed. I thought today would be a day that they bounce back after the Bayern Munich result, and in many ways this is probably worse than the Bayern Munich result. I thought Bayern Munich the other night were very clinical, and maybe the scoreline was a bit exaggerated. Today Tottenham were miles off it. To go away to Brighton and just they rolled over, and that's not good enough, and not what you expect from a Pochettino team. And I know there's been a lot of murmurs about discontent with the manager and so on, and he may leave, and that could be something he's thinking about, because things don't seem right. This isn't the Tottenham we've come to see under him.
Well, the bookies have been slashing the odds in recent weeks on whether or not Maupay will be the next Premier League manager to lose his job. He was a rank outsider 2 or 3 weeks ago, and those odds being slashed and slashed and slashed, believe you me. And as we heard there from Tom and from Franny, Lloris makes the gaffe on the back, of course, of that horrific gaffe in our feature game last week when he tries the Cruyff turn that just completely backfires. This a different kind of error, but compounded by what looks like a very nasty injury to his arm as he falls. We've been looking at the still picture of it. His arm buckles back, doesn't it? And it looks very, very nasty.
Yeah, it looked a horrible injury. Thoughts going out to him, and hopefully he recovers soon. But it looks like that could be a long-term problem now. And I know Gazaniga's come in and in the cup games he's done well, but I'm not sure if he's ready week in, week out to be playing for one of the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the Premier League. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on.
Absolutely. So we'll refer back to that problem, of course, and bring you some post-match reaction from Maurizio Pochettino a bit later in the show. Let's then look ahead to the other games apart from our Liverpool-Leicester featured match that are taking place at 3 o'clock in the UK. First of all, Burnley versus Everton kicks off in a few minutes at Turf Moor. With the team news for us, it's Barry Sway.
Everton started the weekend considerably closer to the relegation places than the top 4. When it's not going to plan, Turf Moor isn't usually the place that you choose to come. Having said that, Everton won 5-1 here last season. Burnley without the injured Jack Cork, so in comes Johan Berg Gudmundsson with Jeff Hendricks switching central. Theo Walcott remains out, so Alex Iwobi starts for the Toffees, who have Bernard and Andre Gomez on the bench. Marco Silva takes charge of his 100th game in English football. Some say 101 may not come on his Everton watch if the Toffees continue their less than inspiring start to the new season. At Turf Moor, it's Burnley against Everton.
Barry, thank you. Hogan, I take Barry's point there. He's under big pressure, isn't he, Marco Silva, still?
Massive pressure. He came in with a great reputation after what he did at Watford, and even Hull to a certain extent. I know they went down, but he gave them a real fighting chance. And in his 2 seasons now at Everton, he's spent a lot of money and things just haven't gone well. Looking at the league table, it's not a position that they would have foreseen themselves to be in. And you can't really see them, like the direction they're heading in. I don't think they play great football. They're not a massive threat up top. They can let in goals.
Apart from that, they're fine.
Yeah. So it's not looking good at all. So today is a massive game for him. And if they weren't in such a bad position, it's probably a game where it'd probably take a point. But I think today he has to be going there looking to get the 3 points.
And Burnley, solid so far, as you would expect. No ropey start like last year when they had the Europa League to stretch them. 9.7 games, mid-table, probably about right.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. You know what you're going to get from Burnley. I think last year they fell off a little bit, but like you mentioned, the Europa League played a part in that. They're a solid side at home. They're very tough to break down, and they're a threat with the big boys up front. And Ashley Barnes is obviously a very good goal scorer, so it'll be a good game today.
Chris Wood banging in the goals of late as well, the New Zealand international skipper. Let's go next to East Anglia. It is Carrow Road, the venue for Norwich City and Aston Villa. Our commentator with the team news is Andrew Self.
It's Norwich manager Daniel Farke's 100th game in charge of the Canaries today, and whilst the injury list doesn't seem to shorten, he has had to make one enforced change as McGovern stays in goal to replace the injured Tim Krul and Farman. Otherwise, with 9 players injured, there's not a lot of wriggle room for Daniel Farke. It's a year in charge of Aston Villa for manager Dean Smith, and they're back in the Premier League. But last week's 2-2 draw at home to Burnley shows just how tough this season will be. Smith makes no changes to that lineup. Norwich have not scored in 3 of their last 4 Premier League games, and Villa don't travel well. Which record gets broken today?
I think it's going to be, as Andrew's alluded to, an open game. I'd say a high-scoring game. I have a weird feeling that Villa might finally click and get it right in this one.
Yeah, Villa have shown little moments, and you can see the direction they're heading in, and today's going to be a big game for them, because I can't see them getting too many away wins this season. So this is one that they'd pinpoint, and they'd fancy themselves to go and get the 3 points. Norwich, as we know, especially at home, they've been so expansive, and they are a real threat with Pukki up front, a fantastic goal scorer. So it's going to be a tough game, but I think it's a game, even though so early on in the season, at the end of the season you'll look back and it would have played a major part in at least one of these teams maybe surviving.
OK, now Watford versus Sheffield United is the other 3 o'clock kickoff. Ian Brown keeping a close eye on that one for us at Vicarage Road.
Is it too early to claim every match is like a cup final? Well, with Watford winless and bottom of the Premier League, Quique Sanchez-Flores is already speaking in those terms, and he makes 4 changes. Prödl and Cabasele come into defence. Pereira and Gray also start. It looks like a 3-5-2 formation to match up Sheffield United. Delafeu and Sarr and Dawson drop to the bench. There's no place for Capoue. Sheffield United pushed Liverpool hard a week ago and remain unbeaten away from home. They're unchanged. Billy Sharp is on the bench after his suspension.
Ian, thank you. So Watford minus 16 goal difference, 2.7 games, 2 managers. Might be 3 managers soon or not?
It's not been the greatest of starts for him. It looked good the second half against Arsenal, but since then with the Man City result and so on, it's not been great, but today's a must win for them. I think Sheffield United at Vicarage Road is a game that they're expected to win, really, and in the position they're in, they can't afford any other result.
Quick word on the Blades as well. It's been pretty good, hasn't it, to be up there in 13th at this point?
I've been impressed. I've been very impressed. I thought that they could struggle bad this season, but so far they've started well. I know last week was a goalkeeping error, which the manager wasn't too happy with. So they'll be looking to go to Vicarage Road and get something themselves, but I just think it's such a big game for Watford that should see them over the line.
Okay, we will wait and see. Then at 5:30, by the way, Alex Crook and the former West Ham striker David Connolly, they get team for the London derby at the London Stadium, West Ham against Crystal Palace. That's our third commentary of the day here on Premier League Live. Our next, though, is but 9 minutes away here at Anfield. It's Liverpool against Leicester City. Current boss Jurgen Klopp up against the former Liverpool manager Brendan Rodgers. Let's hear from both.
It looks like 100%. It looks like there's no difference to other top 6 teams, part of maybe the name, but this is for sure the second best year. I think they will have played in the last couple of years, because it's just you can see that it's built from the back. The goalie is still there, no doubt about him. So then the defense really looks solid. It's really built like you want to build a team. So from the back, the experience, young Evans and the young Turkish guy, I know his name but he cannot spell it, so that's all. That's just good. What can I say? And of course it's not forbidden to show up in the top 4. Obviously there's no reservations made, and everybody who is ready for that will fight for it, I'm sure, and they will fight for it until the end.
I think it was different. We back then were looking at young players, and we were actually having to bring in loan players to subsidise the squad. But I think the strategy around it is different now. I think Jurgen's done a brilliant job. Of course, that's pretty clear. Gone in there and brought a real harmony to the team and the supporters. So you see that togetherness there, and that consistency has really helped, along with then when you have areas on the field where you can bring in really top players, the likes of Virgil coming in, and Alisson the goalkeeper, real 2 top level players that can come in and really improve the squad, and then the development of the other players, So I think they're in a great position, and get some wonderful young talents, some experienced players, and obviously they get a great manager, and they look very strong.
It's doing really well. To be honest, I'm not surprised about that. I knew it when I came here that he was not the reason for that the things didn't work out. And since then he did an incredible job at Celtic, obviously, and now at Leicester. Good signings as well, really good signings, and a brilliant team. It's what they do is really good. I don't have to say that. I think everybody knows it in a moment when you watch the Leicester games. It's just exciting. It's just fresh. They are good. Just good. Defend well, play football, and especially counter-attacks are pretty threatful. So good. Congratulations to that.
No, it's another game for us against a top level side. We just want to go and perform, and hopefully we can get something from the game.
From my side, it's fine. So all the issues are sorted, which we had a couple of years ago when we started living in the house. It's what were they? No, it's brilliant. We love living there, and it's all good. So we pay awful rent for him. So I'm not sure he has to work, but he's obviously still doing it. Oh, yeah, welcome.
Love it. Brendan Rodgers gets the bullet. Jurgen Klopp moves in, needs a house. Rodgers has a house to rent. Who does he rent it to? Klopp. It's a great story, isn't it?
Unbelievable story. I bet the house isn't too bad either.
Particularly after the tweaks from one to the other. Just really quickly, who's going to win this and why?
I fancy a score draw today. I've been contemplating between 1-1 and 2-2, but I'm going to go with 1-1. I just think Leicester are just a team which can cause problems to this Liverpool setup. And Liverpool, as we know, are a fine side.
We will see. Hogan Ephraim alongside me, Russell Hargreaves on Premier League Live.
As we look down from the cradle of our hot air balloon, we wonder as a svelte ocean of stampeding gazelles gallop majestically earthbound towards a waterhole.
Justice here, Watson. Oh, lovely. Mine's a pint. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Your natural selection for the big game, bodacious banter and bookings. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport.
Masters of Drive Time Radio, Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
Drive, she said. I'll tell you when to stop.
Big names and big comments from the best in the business.
Gary Neville, they need to step up the performances. I still think United will finish in the top 4.
Scattergun Sports Talk and explosive opinion. Jamie Carey.
I'm talking to Gary Neville and Adrian Durham. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have known who to punch first.
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
I love the smell of football in the afternoon.
Weekday afternoons from 4.
Butter me buns.
On Talk Sport.
Hello, Jim White here. Sorry, I've just nipped into the dentist for a quick checkup. What's that? Open wide? All right. Well, never mind that. Polish up your radio tomorrow morning from 10 when I'll be extracting the biggest names in football and filling your morning with the biggest and best stories I can get my teeth into.
Jim White. Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Can I rinse out now? Oh, sorry, I missed the thing there.
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on TalkSport.
Join the cutthroat posse in the last chance saloon of sporting prowess.
Come and Navajo if you think you're hard enough.
They'll be rustling up tomorrow's back pages as they send you crashing headfirst along the bar of sport.
It's the good, the bad, and the Cundy.
Get off your horse and drink your milk.
On the Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on TalkSport.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock on Talk Sport. The cornerstone of any nutritious sports breakfast.
A morning delivery of big names and essential game talk, discreetly wrapped and violently lobbed over the fence onto your radio. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
100% pure Scotch beef.
Monday morning from 6
on Talk Sport. Driving home with Darren Goff and Durham, a sporting legend and an angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him, I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4, only on Talk Sport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Leicester City from Anfield. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and alongside me is the former West Ham, QPR and Toronto FC attacker, Hogan Ephraim, and this is Premier League Live. Hogan, a couple of minutes away from kickoff, and obviously this song is so iconic and this venue is so iconic, isn't it? What a place for Leicester to try and show what they're all about now.
Yeah, this is the sort of game where they need to step up. We've seen them against teams lower down in the league and they're too good for them. But they went to Old Trafford recently and didn't really put on a performance. So today they'll want to put them those wrongs right. And yeah, this is a fantastic chance to do it.
Well, Brent Parker is listening to us all the way from the beautiful state of Montana in the USA. Says always the best way to take in a Premier League game listening to you boys. Brent, we appreciate that. Hoping for a Leicester loss and an Arsenal win tomorrow. Brent, fair enough, you nailed your colours there, my friend. At TalkSport Live, wherever you're listening around the world, welcome to this iconic, historic venue for what should be a brilliant match. First against third in the Premier League. This is match week 8. Drop us a tweet as well at TalkSport Live, where you're listening from, what you're up to today, how you think the match will go, your thoughts on both of these teams' progress and where they might ultimately end up between now and the end of the season. I'm running through the teams one more time. So Liverpool making 2 changes to the team that beat RB Salzburg 4-3 in the Champions League in midweek. Dejan Lovren and James Milner into the 11. Joe Gomez and Jordan Henderson down to the bench. It's still Adrian in goal. No decision yet about bringing Alisson back in, likely to happen in a couple of weeks after the international break. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold, Dejan Lovren, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson at the back. Gigi Wijnaldum, Fabinho and Milner in midfield. Mo Salah, Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane up front. Leicester 1 change to the team that beat Newcastle 5-0 on Sunday. That sees James Maddison, their key playmaker, return from an ankle knock. Ayoze Perez drops down to the bench. It's Kasper Schmeichel, Ben Chilwell, Johnny Evans, Carlos Soyuncu and Ricardo Pereira, Wilfred Ndidi in front of Harvey Barnes, Maddison, Dennis Praet and Yuri Tielemans, and the informed Jamie Vardy up front. Your referee is Chris Carragher, as you can hear. We're underway with the referee's whistle blowing just 20 seconds ago. Liverpool attacking from left to right in the first half from our magnificent vantage point here at Anfield on Premier League Live. They're in their traditional all red, and Leicester in their traditional blue tops, white shorts and blue socks. Liverpool with a fair bit of the early ball. They then lump it downfield. It's cut out by Ben Chilwell, who in turn lumps it back down to the man in goal for Liverpool, which is still Adrian. He bowls it out quickly to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Fabinho tries to move the ball quickly. It's initially cut out by Yuri Tielemans. Soyuncu then with a powerful header, looking for Ndidi. Jamie Vardy's first touch is to Maddison, but just offside.
Yeah, good pressing from Leicester to start the game. I think it's important early on to frustrate Liverpool and to also show that they're a threat on the break. So that's what Rodgers will want him to do, and I think Vardy's going to be licking his lips today. He looks like he's getting really close to Lovren, and he'll be wanting to run in that channel as often as possible.
Jamie Vardy in such good form at the moment. There's a couple of impressive stats for him. 7 Premier League goals against Liverpool. Only Andy Cole and Thierry Henry have got more against the Reds in Premier League history. And 14 goals in 17 Premier League games since Brendan Rodgers took over at Leicester back in March. And that is the best Hogan of any player in the top flight.
It's unbelievable. His record's absolutely fantastic. I think if you took a couple of years off him, what he would be going for in the transfer market would be crazy money.
Absolutely. Now Liverpool for the first time get their silky passing skills going. Here's Mo Salah, tries to flick one through to Sadio Mane. It's intercepted by the Leicester defence. Boy, Evans and Soyuncu going to be busy in this game. You would think they hold rock firm there. They also get the free kick, Leicester City.
Yeah, a bit fortunate to get a free kick there. I think Tielemans was caught, but it didn't look like the referee was going to give it to start with.
Well, he did in the end. Jamie Vardy wins that free kick, much to the annoyance of the raucous Reds crowd around us. We look at a replay on the big screen. Yeah, just a tiny niggle, not a huge amount in it, but Jamie Vardy gets one early on off referee Chris Kavanagh, and that will give Leicester and their fairly raucous contingent away to our left something to cling on to early in this game. Harvey Barnes, the youngster wearing 15, beaten on the far side though by Roberto Firmino, who got stuck in. Firmino then dispossessed by Wilfred Ndidi to Ricardo Pereira. Pereira had a Brazilian nipping at his heels, no foul, and the referee says play on. Kavanagh lets Leicester try and take it forward. Vardy just found himself muscled out of it there, lost possession. Leicester initially quick to win it back. Soyuncu gives it away, ball pumped over the top, pace at Mo Salah, and Soyuncu just about gets back in time to atone for his small error and clears the ball.
He did well there. I didn't think he was going to get back in time. You don't want to see Mo Salah running into space like that if you're Soyuncu, but he's done well to recover. Moments earlier you saw Maddison with a little flick that almost came off, and they're the sort of things Leicester will be looking for. Just little flicks around the corner where Vardy can run onto, and I think that's their best chance today.
Dennis Praet with his first touch. There's a little battle in a congested midfield there. Ball comes back off the Belgian for a Liverpool throw taken quickly. Salah turns nicely. First shot on target is from Mo Salah, and it's saved down to his right by Kasper Schmeichel.
It's a good chance for his standards. Soyuncu gets way too tight, and he's not strong enough to deal with Salah there. And I know he's a bit wide, but we've seen him many a times wrap that into the far corner, and it's a nice little early tester for him.
So Liverpool with an early shot across the Leicester bows. 4 minutes played. Premier League Live. Liverpool 0, Leicester 0. Remember, at TalkSport Live. Drop us a tweet. Give us your thoughts on the game. Who you are, where you're listening from. We'll read out the best throughout the course of the match. Sadio Mane looking fit and firing. Bends the ball through, looking for Salah. Just overhit. Liverpool's number 11 can't quite get there. The ball nestles into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel, but Hogan, the movement already, the interplay of these Fab Three up front is very impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. You can see they're trying to get Salah and Mane in and around the centre half of Leicester. They obviously think Soyuncu and Johnny Evans lack a bit of pace, and that's going to be a problem for Leicester today. So the fullbacks might have to narrow off and make it a little bit tighter, condense the space, and just play from there.
Kyle is listening to us from the Hotel Laundry Room in Kansas. Great work. He says class coverage as always. He predicts a Liverpool 2-0 win with a double from Sadio Mane. Offside on that occasion against Salah. Liverpool just missed timing that one, but on the whole, they've been buzzing around, looking lively. Leicester's defence is going to have its work cut out. Can they keep the Reds sufficiently at bay for 90 minutes? It's a massive ask. Nobody else has managed to do it so far this season. Appeals for handball. There was handball by a Leicester player. I think it was Yuri Tielemans, but referee Kavanagh well placed. He's happy to play the advantage and allow Liverpool to build from the back, which Dejan Lovren on his return to the team does. To Alexander-Arnold, speculative cross from distance. And what you don't need to do with the Fab Three is try and pump high balls in from a massive long way away. That's not their forte, is it?
No, Leicester will be loving that. If that's the way that the Liverpool fullbacks are going to deliver today, then Leicester will be super happy with that. But I think Liverpool have started well. They've got a nice tempo to their play. Fabinho in the middle, he's keeping it ticking over really well. He's been a great signing since he's been there, and he looks like he's on it today.
And Chilwell gets that one slightly wrong, I have to say, as he tries to pump in an attack. It's easily blocked and it's straight into the arms of the man who's in goal for at least this one more game for Liverpool, Adrian. We do suspect that the Spaniard, the former West Ham man, will lose his place post the international break when we reconvene in a fortnight, once Alisson's been given a little bit more time to be fully match fit. The Brazilian, of course, was the world's best goalkeeper, as voted at the recent FIFA Awards. He's been out for a good chunk of this campaign. He is back to full training, isn't he? But as Klopp said yesterday in his media conference, no point in taking an undue risk at this stage.
Yeah, I think you get the international break out of the way, another 2 weeks training under his belt. And to be fair to Adrian, he's come in and he's covered himself in glory. I know there's been 1 or 2 errors, but on the whole...
they were right at the start as well, weren't they?
Yeah, right at the start. And on the whole, he's been fantastic, and he wouldn't have expected to play this much in the whole season, let alone up till now, so it's been good for him.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well for the man whose future was a little bit in question a couple of years ago, and it's clicking very nicely. 7 played, it's Premier League Live, it's Liverpool 0, Leicester 0. As Liverpool go on the attack again through Roberto Firmino. Lost the ball, but the ricochet pulls back to the Reds. Here's Andy Robertson, their star left back, and goes past Pereira like he's not there. Great delivery looking for Salah. Sionchu is up there, and the Turk heads it half clear as far as Fabinho. To Alexander-Arnold, who stretches, gets there ahead of Tielemans. Mane back to Alexander-Arnold, deflected cross looking for Salah, and Didi is back, clears it for a corner, and listen to that crowd, Liverpool and their fans right behind them.
That's what Liverpool do so well. Once they have an attack and it gets semi-cleared, they're straight back onto it, and it's wave after wave of pressure, and it must be so hard as a team to defend against that. It's just non-stop pressure, and that's just the way Jurgen Klopp's always been.
Well, it nearly led them to a title last season. Incredible run from Liverpool, in many ways a record-breaking season of their own. But they still missed out to Man City. Can they go one better this time? Out-swinging corner, decent delivery. Lovren was the man up there, and the Croatian centre-half got there, flicked the ball across goal. But it was just a bit too rapid and a bit too high for several other on-rushing Liverpool players. Robertson this time, an early cross, probably the wrong decision. He apologises to his teammates as Andy Robertson for once slightly mishits that one. Liverpool keep the ball in play though through Milner to Salah. A bit of control from Salah initially to keep it in play before Pereira nicks the ball off him. And Leicester play the ball back to the edge of their own penalty area to Johnny Evans, who clears his lines, but his clearance is straight down the throat of Virgil van Dijk. Slightly messy passage of play. Leicester regather the ball. Appeals for handball against Gigi Wijnaldum. Referee interestingly says no. I thought it did catch his arm, but it wasn't deliberate. And Liverpool continue to attack right beneath our vantage point here on Premier League Live, just inside the Leicester half, now back to halfway. Wijnaldum to Milner, risky crossfield ball, but it's successful. It cuts out Harvey Barnes, and here's Robertson infield for Salah. Evans with the interception, and Harvey Barnes now completes it, looking for Vardy. Jamie Vardy is going to struggle, I think, in a one-on-one in that situation against Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk cuts it beautifully, finds Robertson, he's dispossessed, ball out of play for a throw. Lively passage of play.
Yeah, I think what will be worrying for Leicester is 2 times now Andy Robertson's gone past Ricardo Pereira with absolute ease. He's kicked it round one side and ran the other, and that's too easy. Ricardo's a lot better than that. And as you were saying with Vardy, Leicester just playing straight balls up to him. I think this is the time of the game where maybe they turn them into the channels and get Liverpool running towards their own goal for a little bit, because the pressure's going to be non-stop otherwise.
Because you need Vardy running at pace onto a ball in front off the shoulder, don't you, rather than trying to compete from a static position against a bloke who's much bigger and arguably much better in that part of the game.
Exactly. And the whole game is condensed into Leicester's half of the field, so if they can just hit the channel, and Vardy's probably the best in the Premier League at running in behind and exploiting those channels, so it will take massive pressure off the back four.
10 minutes played exactly. Liverpool 0, Leicester 0 on Brendan Rodgers' return to Anfield. First time in a competitive game he's been back. Of course, Rodgers wasn't far away from taking Liverpool to the 2014 Premier League title, and he got them back into the Champions League for the first time after a 5-year absence. You think about how good Liverpool are now, Hogan.
Yeah.
You think that when Brendan arrived, they'd not been in the top tier of Europe for 5 years. It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, I think Brendan done a very good job there. I think now people will look back and they'll agree. I know it didn't end particularly well, but like you said, 2014 I think it was, when they almost won the league then. They were fantastic that season. And but for that famous Gerrard slip, who knows what it could have been.
Absolutely. Now Leicester have been on the attack. Just for a moment, Jamie Vardy took it, beat a couple of players, but again couldn't get past Virgil van Dijk at the edge of the penalty area. But that was definitely better from the Foxes, who were a bit more direct and just had a bit more pace and potency to that last attack. They're on the offensive again, but they've been pushed back to halfway. Johnny Evans, the Northern Irishman, formerly of course at Man United and of West Brom. He could have a key role to play today. Harvey Barnes is up there grappling on the far side against Van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk, player of the year of course last season. He is the man who very calmly and very astutely wins the free kick. He's a quality defender, isn't he?
Fantastic. I think everyone realised that Southampton is a very good defender, but I'm not sure anyone thought he would go into this level, and he's really kicked on and transformed the whole Liverpool side, to be honest.
Yeah, he and Alisson, as we know, both cost a lot of money, but they have been very, very notable upgrades, and I think the key reason why Liverpool shipped so many less goals and nearly won the Premier League last season. Counter-attacking is another Red strength as Wijnaldum burst down this near-stand side. As far as Sadio Mane putting Soyuncu under plenty of pressure and winning the throw as well. Good pressing.
Great pressing. As a centre-back you would not want that at all. You see Mane running at you 100 miles per hour. So it looks like him and Salah have gone a lot more central today, and Firmino's pulled out to the left. I think that's the area they're trying to exploit with the pace, and it'll be interesting to see how Evans and Soyuncu get on with that.
Elsewhere, it's goalless between Burnley and Everton, Norwich and Aston Villa, and Watford and Sheffield United. Earlier, Brighton beat Spurs 3-0, heaping the pressure and misery on Mauricio Pochettino. Hugo Lloris with a potentially serious injury. Liverpool on the attack. Alexander-Arnold, deep delivery over the head of Firmino to Milner. Milner's shot just over the bar.
Absolutely world-class play from Alexander-Arnold there. Little nutmeg on Chilwell, dinks it to the back post, and Milner has to do better there. A player of his ability should be hitting the target at least. But just fantastic skill there from Alexander-Arnold, and what a delivery that is. I think he has to score that.
Takes 3 defenders out. He's pushed to the byline, keeps his footing, chips it over. It's just on the half volley, wasn't it, for Milner, and maybe slightly unsighted, but I agree, player of his quality, league of this quality, team of this quality, you got to take it.
Yeah, I think that's bread and butter technique for James Milner, that right or left foot, and he'll be disappointed. That's a chance that he would normally tuck away. But great play from Alexander-Arnold.
0-0, 13 minutes played. Hogan, Ephraim and also Hargreaves, your commentary team, Premier League Live, as the Reds try to formulate another attack. They go long this time. Deep ball chested down by Soyuncu, looking for James Maddison, who really has struggled to touch the ball in the game so far. England squad member of course these days, key player for the Foxes so far this season with 2 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League. Missed the Newcastle thumping win with an ankle injury. Back in for this one, but struggled to establish himself so far.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to get into the game. I know he's playing slightly wider than he would like to, but in a way I think he can at times half cheat today, and because Alexander-Arnold goes so far forward, he can literally just cheat a little bit and get the ball on the counter-attack, and then he'll have massive space. So I think that's something he'll be looking to do as the game goes on.
Deep header downfield from Alexander-Arnold, which again Soyuncu reads well, gets there comfortably ahead of Salah. Schmeichel playing out from the back, almost played a little bit of chicken with Sadio Mane, and in the end calmly played the ball past the striker, and Leicester build from the back. Meffrey Volta tweeting in saying he doesn't understand Liverpool's socks today. They look fine to me. Don't know what's wrong with those, Meffrey?
No, they look fine. I can't see any difference.
Perfectly good socks. Vardy on the tack now as far as Barnes. Early delivery, but there was nobody there because Vardy had pulled back to help set up the attack. No one there in the 6-yard box for Barnes to really go for.
That was the problem. It was Vardy, great play here to link up the play, and then he needed Maddison to bust the gut. Maddison's looking for the cutback, and he just needed to get in and around the 6-yard box there.
Under pressure. And Fabinho this time belts it clear. Sadio Mane collects it. Alexander-Arnold in a moment will win it back neatly to Mane. Soyuncu, I think it is, who's down, having just taken a knock as he tried to dispossess Mane. Didn't quite work out. He's just trotting back now. And Liverpool just showing a good bit of steel in central midfield there, as they now plan their next assault. Jurgen Klopp has come from the dugout to the edge of the technical area in his grey baseball cap, the Liverpool boss, screaming out some orders to his players from just beneath us. 15 gone, 0-0. Klopp wants more, as Robertson tries to slide another little threaded ball through. And this time it's Evans who initially cuts it out on the far side, deflected via Firmino off Pereira for another Liverpool throw. About midway inside Leicester territory on the far side. Fabinho under pressure from Ndidi, who does well, forcing the Brazilian to go all the way back to his goalkeeper Adrian, right-footed. Spaniard, deep delivery downfield. Soyuncu back on his feet after that niggle, wins it confidently. Poor ball from Milner, cut out by Maddison. Oh, great play from Maddison, who then went with the outside of his right boot to bend it through to the forward line. Not far from making that one stick.
Yeah, that was a good chance for them on the counter there. I think Vardy got in between the two centre-halves, and if Maddison could have got the ball through, it would have been massive trouble. I thought he had time to take another touch, but the idea, he went for the extravagant outside of the boot, like you said, and it almost paid off.
Ngundu Wolfamore saying surely Liverpool will drop points today, listening to us from Ghana. That's what Hogan said pre-match. He thought it might happen. Fabinho and Maddison, by the way, grappling on the floor there. Play goes on. Here's Firmino. Long mazy run from him to Andy Robertson to Mane, just on the edge of the D. Alexander-Arnold is making a good run. He's found to the right edge of the penalty area, and for once Alexander-Arnold's delivery is poor.
Yeah, that was a poor delivery. I think the two Leicester centre-halves, they'll be happy with crosses coming in today. They'll fancy themselves in the air against the front three of Liverpool. So this might be one of the days where the fullbacks have to look for cutbacks and little slid rule passes down the sides of them.
Which is exactly what Robertson goes for, and that one is again cut out by Leicester. Barnes was back helping out. Pereira it was who gathered the loose ball. All over the top looking for Maddison, and as Maddison tried to control it off his shoulder, it just caught his arm, but again referee Kavanagh is happy to play the advantage. Soyuncu's across to deny Mane at the expense of a throw. We're seeing a lot of advantages in what's already quite a frenetic game.
Yeah, I thought that was actually a good chance for Leicester there. I thought Pereira's pass was very good, but Maddison sort of had his back to the ball and wasn't really looking. So I thought if he could have got out of the way of it and let the ball run, he would have had Lovren in the channel and he would have fancied himself against him.
Well, Jabberwocky's listening to us in Florida in his car. Very nice. Says 2-1 to Liverpool, lads. We'll see if that indeed does happen. Salah to Mane. Neat ball through to Firmino. The big three combining. No real options ahead though, so they're forced to go wide to the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Andy Robertson. Option is limited. Fabinho over the top, looking for Salah. And Mo Salah just couldn't quite get there.
Fantastic ball from Fabinho. The right idea. It's very similar to the goal he made against Manchester United last year at Anfield. A little dink over the top when Mane volleyed home. And yes, great vision there. Good run from Salah, just a little bit overhit. But that's the sort of ball that he'll be looking to play today.
Chilwell has got Mane snapping at his heels. It's like a man-possessed Sadio Mane today, and the crowd, as you can hear, really rising to it. And in the end, it takes two players to deal with him. Soyuncu is the other, but it's again at the expense of a throw. So Mane's never say die attitude there up front gets Liverpool with the throw, which Trent Alexander-Arnold will take in a second. As far as Mo Salah, edge of the near side of the penalty area, 0-0 on Premier League Live. Alexander-Arnold, great delivery. And Johnny Evans is just there ahead of Bobby Firmino. Suddenly Leicester can counter-attack here. Harvey Barnes takes the ball beautifully around Milner. Ball over the top looking for Vardy. Virgil van Dijk reads it so well though. Just eases back, cranes his neck, and the big Dutchman heads it back as far as Fabinho. End-to-end stuff. Nearly 20 minutes played. It's 0-0 as Alexander-Arnold is he bundled over. The answer is he is the man who's conceded the free kick to Yuri Tielemans.
Yeah, it was great play earlier on by Alexander-Arnold and Johnny Evans with a last-ditch header away. But I just think Ben Chilwell, he needs to wake up. I'm one of his biggest fans, but he doesn't look at the races so far in the opening 20 minutes, and he knows he's up against Mane and Salah, who aren't going to give you a moment's peace. So he really needs to wake up.
There has been a goal at Carrow Road.
Now a crossfield pass, tries to find Gilbert. Gilbert first time layoff to Al-Ghazi tries to go outside of Jamal Lewis, who forces him to turn on the apex of the box, but he puts a right-footed cross in. Wesley brings it down. Ibrahim Ziyech, 1-0 to Aston Villa.
1-0 to the Villa. Andrew Self, our commentator there in East Anglia. Elsewhere, still goalless Burnley, Everton, Watford, Sheffield United. Earlier, Brighton beating Spurs 3-0 with that potential serious injury for Hugo Lloris. 5:30 UK, our next commentary is the London derby, West Ham and Crystal Palace. Crunching collision there. Barnes sliding in. Don't think it's going to be any more than a talking to. Two committed players going for that, or more to it?
I'd give it two committed players going for it. I thought that maybe it was going to be a yellow. It looked like a little bit of force in there.
Milner, to his credit, doesn't make any form of a meal of this, does he? Which maybe does Barnes a bit of a favour.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Very honest player, Milner. Harvey Barnes too, so I do think it was just a committed challenge from both players, but nowadays you do usually see the referee get the yellow card out for things like that.
So a throw in to Leicester City, which Chilwell takes. It'll 1-2 with Tielemans, right-footed. Actually manages to find Vardy this time, who's still ploughing something of a lone furrow up front and is struggling to be utilised, as Hogan said, in the right way in this game so far. Won it briefly against Fabinho, but just a matter of time until Liverpool eventually won it back. They now stretch the passage of play to the far side. It's 0-0, 21.5 minutes played, so approaching the midway point of the first half. Here in Anfield on Premier League Live, the Reds have had a couple of half chances, but nothing massively concrete so far. And guess what? They dominate the stats. 152 passes to Leicester's 98, 72% of which were accurate. Not bad stats, but it's been a bit scrappy, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think Leicester will be fairly happy. The first half an hour was massive in this game for them. They frustrated Liverpool to a degree. Salah had a chance which... it's probably a half chance, but for him maybe we've seen him score those before, but I wouldn't have gave it as a real chance. Milner had a very good opportunity, and that's been about it really. So Leicester will be happy how they frustrated them. They'll just want to look a little bit more of a threat themselves.
Akpan Ubong Monday is listening to us from Lagos State. Says Liverpool by a slim margin, but he expects Leicester to score through Vardy. We'll see if that happens. And Sam Robson listening from Utah, from his apartment, enjoying the game. Good to have you there, of course, from the States. Here come the Reds down the far side. Here's Fabinho. A one-on-one situation. Tried to engineer a pass through. It was Dennis Pryatt, the Belgian midfielder, who came back, and good work from these Leicester midfielders at times to track back these four and just occasionally help out the defence.
They're working very hard, and I think that's why in games like this you do see Maddison pushed out to the left, because it's not something you'd associate him with. So Dennis Pryatt's come in alongside Tielemans and Ndidi, and they'll do that all day long. They'll work hard and they'll put in that shift.
Johnny Evans with the interception this time. You can hear the groans from the Liverpool fans as each move, oh dearie me, goes awry, and there's decided to be a foul for a couple of moments' time. I thought maybe they were in all sorts of trouble there as Sadio Mane and Yuri Tielemans combined. Tielemans was trying to play it back to his own goal. Was he dispossessed legally, or was Mane right to be adjudged to have fouled him?
I think it was maybe just a foul, but he's a lucky boy. I don't think he knew that Mane was around.
Tielemans overplays, Mane nicks the ball off him, but just catches a bit of the player at the same time, basically.
Yeah, the slightest of touches, and then his foot kicked into the ground, so I think he got away with that one because he did not know Mane was putting that sort of pressure on him.
So a bit of a lifeline for Leicester there. Their Belgian playmaker Yuri Tielemans a little bit sloppy at the back, trying to do too much in the wrong area. Is Soyuncu about to do the same? The answer is no. He was slightly sold short with the pass to him by Evans. Soyuncu took the ball around an on-rushing Liverpool player and then freed it nicely down the left-hand side. It sets up another Leicester counter-attack. Chilwell, deep delivery, well over-hit, massively over Harvey Barnes, and goes back to your point that Ben Chilwell is freezing slightly on the big stage today, which is a surprise.
Yeah, he's not been at the races, and I'm a massive fan of Chilwell. I think he's one of the best left-backs about at the moment. Been so impressed with him the last 18 months or so, but today just doesn't look at the races. That was an overhit cross. He's looked a bit sleepy defensively a couple of times, so he needs to step up his game today.
Tielemans, lovely ball out to the far side. This is more like it from Leicester. Early cross though was a little bit disappointing. I think it was Pryatt who'd been pushed out wide, but he wins back the secondary ball. Tries a 1-2 with Harvey Barnes. James Milner is there. Did Pryatt foul him? The answer is no. Pryatt puts in the cross. He manages to win the corner. Good work at both ends of the field from the summer signing.
Great work, Ray. He never gave up the situation. It wasn't the greatest ball from Harvey Barnes back to him, but he's made something of it and gone and get his team a corner. So these will be opportunities Leicester will want to take.
Liverpool 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League, trying to make it 8, of course, till tomorrow when Manchester City play their next catch-up game. At the moment, Leicester City in third themselves, just making it difficult for the Reds at Anfield. Leicester corner. Outswinger from Maddison, it's a beauty. Johnny Evans had come up from the back, and the big Ulsterman wasn't a million miles away. Dennis Pratt wins the ball off Mane. Puts in the cross, it's a very good cross, and Dejan Lovren threw himself at that at the expense of a corner. Critical defending there from the man back in the side.
Massive header that from Lovren. Dennis Pratt in the last 5 minutes, he's really come into his own, and that looked a very inviting cross. You see Johnny Evans looked like he was going to get on the end of it, and yeah, massive header from Lovren that.
May have been one or two players offside. Had there been a goal, I think it might have gone to VAR and then been ruled out, but Lovren certainly wasn't to know that. I think did the right thing, which is to make the safety first interception. Short corner from this near stand side. Maddison to Chilwell to Tielemans, back to Chilwell, edge of the penalty area. Oh dearie me, it's a rash challenger. It looked to be from Mane as he slid in, but to his credit, Sadio Mane timed that interception perfectly, and with that kind of tackle he had to get it spot on, didn't he?
He had to, yeah, and once Chilwell gets going, he's very powerful in the run, so I was worried when Mane went to ground there, but a fantastic challenge.
Fair play to the Senegalese. A second either side of that and he would have scissor kicked and kind of hacked his man down.
It was a Wan-Bissaka's tackle, that his last ditch, and he's flown in, and it was all or nothing. So fair play to Mane, ended up being a fantastic tackle.
So Norwich 0, Aston Villa 1 elsewhere, still goalless between Burnley and Everton and Watford and Sheffield United. Earlier Brighton piling the misery on Spurs 3-0 with an injury to the Tottenham keeper Hugo Lloris. Later, commentary here on Premier League Live with West Ham against Crystal Palace. And as you mentioned, Man City, they're in action against Wolves tomorrow. It's also Southampton, Chelsea, and our featured commentaries at Arsenal, Bournemouth with James Fielder and Dave Kitson, and Newcastle, Man United, John Anderson and Danny Gabardon. That's always a classic fixture, and two teams, of course, with under-pressure managers who are struggling at the moment. Very, very interesting. Good story here, though. The team of the season so far against the best of the rest so far this season. Leicester trying to give Liverpool a bloody nose. They're doing well so far, but Alexander-Arnold kicks the ball in play brilliantly, hooks it back. Johnny Evans had to be alert to head it behind for a corner.
He's done well 3 or 4 times today, Johnny Evans, reading situations, and that once again, because a lot of centre-halves there could easily switch off thinking that ball's going out of play. Great play from Alexander-Arnold, and Evans fantastic on the cover.
Very good defending. Once again, those centre-halves for Leicester are being stretched on occasion, but they are coping with the pressure that's been put in front of them. Leicester with 31 points since Brendan Rodgers was appointed in March. Only Liverpool with 49 and Man City with 46 have more in that time frame. Corner from the Reds is a good one, and this time it's Pereira up there. There's appeals, I think, for maybe a shirt tug on a Liverpool player by a Fox's counterpart. That's what the fans at least are appealing for. Players didn't seem too bothered. In this frenetic match, even though there are no goals, Liverpool attack again. 28.5 minutes played. It remains Liverpool 0, Leicester 0. Pereira's clearance was eventually blocked and Liverpool come again. Mane this time goes deeper to try and get hold of the ball. Milner prods it through to Mo Salah, and when Liverpool try to do that, again it's kind of meat and drink for the likes of a Johnny Evans, isn't it?
Yeah, you're playing into their hands. The two centre-halves, big strong boys, good in the air as well, so today's the sort of day you need to play down the side to him. I'm not really sure why they put in some of the crosses they put in and some of the passes up to him. It's been a bit strange from that point of view.
Only 2 shots in the game so far, both from Liverpool. One on target that was saved low to his right by Kasper Schmeichel, and one wide of goal. That is all we've seen in the game. Pretty nasty foul there, but play goes on. And Ndidi fouling Milner. Ref well placed though. Kavanagh says play on! Curling effort from Sadio Mane. That's shot number 3 of the game, shot on target number 2. An unsighted Schmeichel makes a good save.
Very good play from Mane. I thought he could have carried on driving. I thought with his pace and power he could have really got out the back 4 there. Good effort on his left foot. I think the referee will be pulling up Ndidi. I'd be surprised if he doesn't go into the book for the tackle we made earlier in that move.
Yes, you mentioned loads and loads of advantages played by the referee, Chris Kavanagh, and you're quite right, he now calls Wilfred Ndidi over. Ndidi certainly blocked Milner and sent him flying. But Wilfred Ndidi is the first player to go to the book today, the Nigerian international.
That's a big blow for Leicester, because he's the one that you want hustling around, putting in the tackles, and he can be rash at times. So for him to play the next hour of this game on a yellow, it's not a great look for them.
Peter Hyde is listening to us from Osu in Ghana. He says, come on Leicester, Salzburg showed the way. See if he can do the same to the Reds this afternoon. Here's Chilwell as Leicester attack. Liverpool really did waste that free kick opportunity. In the end, Chilwell nearly found himself free. It was Mane again who was back making the block. He has been very, very hungry today, the Senegalese.
His work rate's threatening. I think going forward he's one of the best players in the Premier League, if not the best currently. But working back, I don't think we've seen an attacker in the Premier League with that sort of work rate. That's twice in the edge of his own box making tackles. Just fantastic all round.
Just approaching 31 on the clock. It is a Leicester corner though as a result. In swinger this time, and it's over the head of Sayuncu. He was never going to get there. Virgil van Dijk heads it out for a throw, so at least Leicester will bring that to the table on the far side, midway inside Liverpool territory. Prayet to Harvey Barnes, who beats Milner but can't beat Robertson. And Robertson hacks the ball downfield. Leicester having a decentish spell, admittedly with Liverpool still coming at them. It's not been a bad few minutes at all.
No, I think that they'll be happy with how it's going. They look comfortable in possession. I think Maddison's been loose on the ball once or twice when there's been counter-attack chances. But other than that, Leicester will be very happy. I think Prayet's doing very well. They'll want to just see if they can stretch the back four and get Vardy into those channels that we were talking about. But on the whole, they've been impressive.
Do you know what, with the socks comment, because he's just sent it in again, the same tweeter, it's the fact that the bottom of their socks are all white. It's red half the way down, and then there's a random white bit by the ankle. I think that's what it is that seems to be upsetting one or two of our listeners around the world, but it's what Liverpool have gone with, and that cheer that you hear is because Leicester have this time conceded a free kick. The fans, I think, feeling that the ref has been a bit in their favour. Johnny Evans, the man adjudged to have pulled Mo Salah. Not much in it, but there was a bit of a shirt pull, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a bit. Definite free kick, and the referee's got that right. The referee's been good today. He's let play flow. There's been a couple of times that he's just let it go on when there's been handballs and fouls and so on. So he's done well.
32 on the clock. Liverpool 0, Leicester 0. Virgil van Dijk with a massive long ball over the top. It's a very decent ball, and Kasper Schmeichel, I think, did the right thing, which was to come out of his penalty area. Of course, the keeper couldn't use his hands in that situation, so he heads it to safety with Salah and Mane on rushing.
It's a great starting position. He knows that when the Lions highlight that with the pace of Salah and Mane, he has to be alert. And his starting position there is fantastic, and he deals with the danger well.
Kasper Schmeichel, of course, one of the Premier League winners in 2016 for Leicester, part of that fairy tale season, to still be at the club and still be in the starting 11. He and Jamie Vardy, but a couple who are left now, one or two more on the bench. Where's Morgan, Mark Albrighton. Alexander-Arnold with a great delivery, vicious whipping ball looking for Firmino, who arrived late to the edge of the 6-yard box and just wide.
That cross is out of this world from Alexander-Arnold. You couldn't wish for a better cross as a forward. The shape that he's put on that, from the distance he is out as well, that's world class. He couldn't have put in a better cross than that. That's absolutely world class. And Firmino, I know he's on the stretch, but he'd be wanting to get a better connection with that and hitting the target. What a delivery.
Took about 4 players out of the game, that delivery, and in the end didn't lead to a goal, but it was mightily impressive. Come Liverpool once more. Alexander-Arnold to Salah, looking for Gigi Wijnaldum. Gigi Wijnaldum's been fairly quiet in this one actually as well, hasn't he?
He has. He's not really got too involved. He's been his industrious self, but not done much with the ball or going forwards. And as we know, he is a goal for it going forward, so he'll be wanting to make the box for that sort of delivery that Alexander-Arnold put in.
Still goalless Burnley, Everton and Watford, Sheffield United. There has been another goal at Carrow Road. We'll take you there in a couple of moments' time. 3-0 earlier to Brighton against Spurs. What a turn up for the books that was. Liverpool back onto the attack with Salah being pulled. Combination of Chilwell and Tielemans. The fans down in that far corner certainly think it was a foul. Decision was no. Play goes on there, frustration grows. Back heel from Vardy, took a little deflection to Ndidi, and Ndidi beats Fabinho. It's clever play from Watford and Ndidi, who then plays the ball off the on-rushing Lovren and out for a throw in a pretty attacking position just beneath us.
Yeah, it looked like every ricochet was going Leicester's way there. Vardy with a little back heel has come off someone as a nutmeg, then Ndidi doing something similar. It looked like a foul in the corner initially on Salah, so would have been interesting if Leicester made something of that.
Bit of space finally for James Maddison. Infield to Barnes, to Tielemans. Chilwell on the overlap. Liverpool are stretched. First time cross from the England left back, just behind the on-rushing Leicester strikers, but it's Lovren again who makes the interception.
That's where you want to see Ben Chilwell powering forward, getting into those forward positions. Lovren did well because he was looking for the cutback there, Chilwell.
Throw rather than corner from Lovren's clearance. Now Tielemans feels he's been upended illegally by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Arnold says I didn't do anything. Tielemans rolling around by the advertising hoardings and appears to have hurt his ankle. He's by one of those big boom mics, the furry microphones they have for TV. He does appear to be in pain, but I think it's probably nothing too serious.
No, from the noises he was making, it seems serious, but not too sure what happens here.
Oh, there is a bit of a shove, and then he falls awkwardly, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think Trent Alexander comes down on his right foot.
He does.
Yeah.
From this angle you can see you've got, I don't think it's necessarily deliberate, he's trying to put his foot down and his studs do catch the ankle of his rifle.
Yeah, and you see the ankle twist a little bit. That does look a painful one.
So Tielemans, who said an Alexander-Arnold stud down his Achilles, is definitely in some pain, isn't he? Initially I thought he was okay. He is back up on his feet, but he is still hobbling and still attending to that heel.
Yeah, initially it didn't look a bad tackle, but Tielemans isn't someone to make the most of anything, so then you did wonder. I think now VAR are having a look at it.
They have taken a little look, and I think they're happy for there to be no more than a corner. Going to be swung in by Maddison, right-footed, in-swinger, good delivery, the ball flashes around the 6-yard box. Leicester the closest they've really come in the game so far. In the end they couldn't get a foot on the ball and poke it goalward, and Mane brings down Tielemans. Liverpool rattled at the moment and tempers are boiling over.
Fantastic delivery from Maddison, unbelievable. The ball bouncing around in the 6-yard box. They've done well to get rid of it, but now they're giving away a free kick in a very threatening position for Leicester.
Take you quickly to that other goal, Carrow Road.
Norwich give the ball away again, halfway line now. Grealish steals forward, midway inside the Norwich half. The overlap comes from Target. Target low into the feet this time of Hurricane. Low across, Wesley makes it 2-0. Oh, how easy was that?
Wesley with the second goal for Villa at Norwich. 2 goals in the 3 o'clock kickoff, so we haven't got you on quite here as yet. Hopefully we will in a second. Andrew Selfie, commentator there in East Anglia. So Liverpool free kick, it's about 27-28 yards out from the near stand side. Chilwell left-footed clips it in rather than Maddison's right to Soyuncu, and what a save from Adrian Kagler Soyuncu, unmarked, powerful header. Adrian with an excellent save, but I don't think it would have counted. Referee's assistant on the far side has lifted her flag.
Yeah, he wasn't to know Soyuncu was offside there. Fantastic delivery, Chilwell, great save. Adrian, he did not know the flag was up, and it's great reactions from him.
Yeah, good play from Soyuncu. He wasn't the one offside, it was one of his other attacking partners on that occasion. It was marginal, but probably just about the right call. Adrian with an athletic save. As we mentioned, it might well be his last game in goal for now, with Alisson nearing full fitness and back in a week or so. But still, the Spaniard did not disappoint. Leicester give the ball away. And here at Liverpool through Gini Wijnaldum up against Yuri Tielemans. Alexander-Arnold, nice interplay between Salah and Wijnaldum initially before Tielemans reads it well and re-intercepts for the Foxes. Maddison beats his player. He's brought down by Fabinho. It's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for the Brazilian.
He's another one similar to Ndidi, not the one that the manager would have wanted seeing going in the book this early on, and great play from Maddison, just driving at them. That's what he's got. He's great with the through balls and the delivery from set pieces, but he can also drive with the ball and commit players, and it's a massive factor in this Leicester side.
McKinney is listening from Port Harcourt in Nigeria, thinks Liverpool will win 3-1. Jason Brookins listening from a sunny Florida, USA. Very nice. Loving my Foxes staying toe-to-toe with Liverpool so far, and indeed they are. Schmeichel takes the deep free kick from well inside Leicester territory. When you try to look for Ben Chilwell with a long ball, it's not really very fair on the left back, is it?
No, that's not his game there. He has got a good leap on him, but it's not the strongest part of his game. But he seems to have stepped up the last 10-15 minutes, Chilwell, and he's getting into the game more and more. And I think he could be a threat going forward.
Milner, left-footed, beautiful ball through. Mane's through one-on-one. Sadio Mane buries it into the corner of the net, and in a flash, the Reds move the ball from their own half to the red-hot Sadio Mane. He doesn't miss, pokes it into the corner. Anfield erupts. It's Liverpool 1, Leicester 0.
Fantastic composure from Mane. Once he gets free, you just know that the net's going to bulge. They're the passes we were talking about earlier. We were saying not getting the crosses in, you have to get it down the sides of the centre halves, and what a ball that is. I think it's James Milner. Johnny Evans couldn't deal with it. The pace, the power, just too much. But it's a great ball. That's the passes Liverpool need to make down the sides of the centre halves, and chances will be there all day long. Great composed finish from Mane.
It is Sadio Mane's 50th Premier League goal in his 100th Premier League appearance for the Reds. Two wonderful achievements for him, and it's his 6th of the season in all competitions. Nice finish.
A great finish and such a threat. You see him there, he's scoring from the inside left position. Twice in the last 10 minutes we've seen him defending in the right back position. He literally gets all over the pitch, and he must be a manager's dream. Work rate, goals, assists, quality on the ball. He's got absolutely everything.
So Liverpool looking to make it 17 straight Premier League wins. And finally, with 5 minutes to go till the break here on Premier League Live, they get that precious goal to maybe keep that run going. We knew that Leicester would make it tough, and boy have they so far. An outstanding team in their own right, with Brendan Rodgers back on his old stomping ground. But fair play to Liverpool, who have, as has been the case in so many recent matches, found a way. And that way was through Sadio Mane. What's Leicester's tactical response here, I wonder? Keep what you're doing, or consider mixing it up now you're a goal down?
I would say for the next 5 minutes or so, keep it tight till half time. They'll be so disappointed at the time that they've lost this goal. Now they just need to make sure they're getting at the break at 1-0, and then they can change things up at half time and have a go. But Liverpool just so relentless, just non-stop for 90 minutes. You'll see Mane, Salah making those runs in behind, and it must be a nightmare to defend against.
Leicester in danger of letting their heads drop here, because here come Liverpool once more. Mane and Firmino combining again, and Didi and Tielemans though blocking well. Salah tries to win a corner, but the ball just trickles out for a goal kick. Randall Smith is listening, big Arsenal fan. He says, well, rolling by the Corvette factory in Bowling Green, Kentucky. He says, come on you Gunners, ahead of that game against Bournemouth tomorrow. Nice picture he sent us as well. Love a Chevy Corvette, and I've got to say I love the state of Kentucky. It's a beautiful place, Randall. So you get many ticks from me here at Anfield, many hundreds if not thousands of miles away. Maybe listening around the world. Keep those tweets coming in at TalkSport Live. Liverpool 1, Leicester 0. 3 minutes until half time. Mane the goal scorer, dragging play out to the far left hand side. Decision is the ball had just trickled out of play.
Yeah, you know it's over here if Sadio Mane can't catch it. But he's been fantastic. I think he's been their best player in this first half, Mane, going forward, and his work rate tracking back. And Leicester will be upset not to have had a shot yet. That's what will disappoint them most.
5 attempts, 3 on target, make that 6 and 4 on target as Mane looks for a second. Couldn't get a lot of power behind it, just got there ahead of the Leicester defence, got it goalward. Save low to his left by Kasper Schmeichel.
I think he'll look at that as a chance for him that he should score. With the form he's been on and the finishes he's been producing, it's a major chance. Leicester really have to get in at half time just to 1 goal down.
This game really has turned in recent minutes. It was pretty much nip and tuck, you felt, even though Liverpool were dominating a few of the key stats. Jamie Vardy, by the way, putting Adrian under all sorts of pressure there. Was there a foul from the former England striker who was trying to close down Adrian, who just about got rid of the ball and then clattered into the Spaniard, and the two exchanging words and one or two unpleasantries coming out of the mouth of the Liverpool goalkeeper. I think we can lip read that.
Yeah, I think these goalkeepers seem a sensitive bunch. I don't think there was much in that from Vardy.
This is the old strikers union, isn't it, from you?
It was just a little barge, but Adrian's made the most of it, and I don't think there's much in there. If this happened with a striker in a centre half, it'd be play on, I'd guess.
Looking at the replay on the big screen, what Hogan Ephraim as an ex-striker calls a little barge, did you say? Yeah. It's basically a huge shoulder shove. Regardless, There was a free kick in the end, but no more. Adrian maybe did overreact. Vardy, he's always tenacious, he's always going to do that kind of thing, particularly if his team is down. They need some kind of firebrand, some kind of impetus, something, don't they, to get them going again. And even if it is something like that, I guess it fires your teammates up.
Yeah, of course. He's usually the one that sets the spark for Leicester.
The catalyst, isn't he?
Yeah, so little things like that will play a part.
Liverpool looking for a second rasping volley from James Milner. Salah held it up well in front of the centre halves, fed it to Milner. He set up a goal already on his return to the Premier League 11. Just couldn't quite guide it in, but only just over.
Yeah, I think Johnny Evans done well. He got in his face. He didn't have much to aim at. You couldn't see much of the goal there, Milner. And just got underneath it. He leaned back and just raised it a bit too high.
We're going to have 2 additional minutes. Ches Allen is hiking in the mountains of North Carolina. He says, I'm on the edge of my seat listening to this match. Come on, you Reds. Well, Ches, you're in a wonderful part of the world, and your team are now ahead. We'll see if we can bring you further goals from here to North Carolina as the rest of this match progresses. Ben Chilwell getting stuck in. Strong tackle, but Liverpool, just by their own corner flag, get the throw and a chance to clear their lines. Milner dispossessed though by Pryatt. Barnes pokes it through to Vardy. Oh, Jamie Vardy took it from left foot to right, tried to get a shot away. Liverpool were backtracking. Trent Alexander-Arnold just about did enough.
Yeah, looking in hindsight, I think he has to go with his left foot. It was the right idea what he tried maybe, but I just thought the chance was there for him, and Vardy's good on either side.
Now Pereira's brought down Andy Robertson on the far side. Pereira with a slightly shaky start to the game, and Premier League Player of the Month nominee easing back into the match. But here, after a missed tackle from Pryatt, Robertson was charging down the flank, and I guess Pereira maybe didn't have too many options apart from to bring his man down. We're looking at the replay of the Vardy chance on the big screen. As Hogan says, didn't fancy it first time with his left. Lovren was involved in that one.
Lovren actually does very well with his trailing foot there, just to get a bit on the ball, because I think when he's chopped inside, it was a decent chop, and he would have got the shot off with the right foot, so very good defending from Lovren.
Lovren's block allowing Alexander-Arnold to then clear. Liverpool free kick for the foul on Robertson. This one wasn't the best from the Scot. Leicester win it back and try to counter-attack with what's surely going to be the final attack of the first half. Harvey Barnes, he's been full of running in the game so far, the man who spent much of last season on loan at West Brom, but has done well since his return to his parent club. His through ball is blocked, and that is the final play of the first half. Sadio Mane, 6th of the season, 50th for Liverpool in the Premier League. Well, this is a 100th top-flight appearance since signing from Southampton. His goal, the difference between the teams. Leicester have made it tough. They've more than played their part, but here on Premier League Live, it's the Reds who lead at the break and could well go 8 points clear again at the top of the table. Half-time, Liverpool 1, Leicester 0. Premier League Live.
Hello, Jim White here. Now, if you're wondering about all the background hullabaloo, I'm helping out as lifeguard at the brand new Talk Sport swimming pool. Goff, no running there, boy. But never mind that. Join me tomorrow morning from 10, when I'll be up to my neck in the warm, chlorinated waters of the day's biggest sports stories. Come plunge with me, Jim White, straight in at the deep end of the action.
Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport. The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on Talk Sports.
Get a pickled egg, some pork scratchings and a punch up by the pool table. In the tasty local battle cruiser, where you get 2 Cockney loudmouths for the price of 1.
The usual, is it, sir? 2 Nelsons and a packet of Jelly Hill flavoured crisps.
Cool, blimey. I love a duck, governor.
It's time, gentlemen, please, to listen to the Sports Bar.
Open for business weeknights from 10 on Talk Sports.
I'm Sam Matterface, and this is Game Day. TalkSport has your weekend covered as we give you a series of exclusive podcasts bringing you total coverage of the Premier League with a trio of top podcasts. On Thursday, myself and a legendary lineup of pros and pundits will preview the action to all 10 Premier League matches.
They were okay in spells, don't get me wrong, but I think it was a gamble that he didn't really need to take. So to try it out against arguably the best side in Europe, or one of the best sides, was, I think, really risky.
This is a game they have to go and win for me, to show that they bought well in the summer, that is their ambition for this season. Allaire.
On Saturday, it's your verdict with me, Laura Woods, and Adrian Durham, bringing you all the reaction and the very best of the phone-in.
I think Sadio Mane had every right to moan. I am fed up with Salah being greedy. I know he's trying to make Salah score a goal, but my God, come on, mate. Pass the ball.
Salah steps away from David Luiz. Still Mo Salah, 3-0. Brilliant individual goal from Mohamed Salah. And Liverpool are over the hills and far away.
On Monday morning, it's the turn of the record book with me, Danny Kelly. I'll be joined by the very best guests as we look back at all the weekend's action, going down the odd highway, byway tangent as well, all on the way. Did you ever play against Mick Harford?
I tried not to be perfect. I never actually come up against him. I did when he was a centre.
You must have heard the tales about Mick Harford and the things he did to the centre half.
Oh, he did, yeah. But lucky enough, when I was at QPR playing centre half, big Alan McDonald got involved with him too. And that's the time I said, Alan, you can have him because it worked out. He's the one person that he would kick you and you would apologise for getting in the way.
Subscribe now to the Game Day podcast on Acast, Spotify or iTunes.
You're listening to Premier League Live. I'm Russell Hargreaves alongside Hogan Ephraim, the former Toronto FC, QPR and West Ham forward. Here at Anfield at the break, Liverpool, courtesy of Sadio Mane, lead Leicester in this big first versus third battle by 1-0. Plenty of other goals taking place from lunchtime onwards up and down the country, and missed penalty since we last updated you as well. Let's update you on exactly where we stand at this midway point in all the 3 o'clock games. He swung in by Maddison, right-footed, in-swing, a good delivery, the ball flashes around the 6-yard box. Leicester the closest they've really come in the game so far. In the end they couldn't get a foot on the ball and poke it goalward, and Mane brings down Tielemans.
Al-Ghazi tries to go outside of Jamal Lewis, who forces him to turn on the apex of the box, but he puts a right-footed cross in. Wesley brings it down, Ibrahim James, 1-0 to Aston Villa. The Norwich City centre-halves had lost him, Godfrey, and certainly Ibrahim Amadou.
Chilwell left-footed clips it in rather than Maddison's right to Soyuncu, and what a save from Adrian Kakla Soyuncu, unmarked, powerful header. Adrian with an excellent save, but I don't think it would have counted. Referee's assistant on the far side has lifted her flag.
Yeah, he wasn't to know Soyuncu was offside there. Fantastic delivery, Chilwell, great save. Adrian.
Target low into the feet this time of Hurricane. Low across, Wesley makes it 2-0. Oh, how easy was that? Norwich City undone again. Well, I can't actually say undone again because their defence has been absent without leave today.
Basham with a low ball into the penalty area, and it's almost an own goal off Cathcart. It just drifts wide of the far post, and Watford again very nearly their own worst enemies.
Daniel Farke looks forlorn. Wesley for his hat-trick. Goal away to my right-hand side. In goal, Michael McGovern. Wesley, the Brazilian, 22 years of age. Chance of a hat-trick, first in the Premier League. Jogs slowly up to the ball. Puts it low, what a save by McGovern, comes back out, Wesley puts the rebound over.
By Schneiderlin. Oh, and it came to Keane and he should have scored, and it seemed to come off his shin pad and went sideways, and luckily for Burnley they're able to clear.
Milner left-footed, beautiful ball through, Mane's through one-on-one, Sadio Mane buries it into the corner of the net, and in a flash the Reds move the ball from their own half to the red-hot Sadio Mane. He doesn't miss, pokes it into the corner. Anfield erupts. It's Liverpool 1, Leicester 0.
Fantastic composure from Mane. Once he gets free, you just know that the net's going to bulge.
Bulging net is described there by Hogan Ephraim, who's alongside me at half-time. Listening to that montage there, I think we're at a decent game so far. Sounds like the Norwich game is quite tasty, doesn't it? Villa 2 up, and really should have been 3 with that missed pen from Wesley.
Yeah, it should have been. I think he's done well, Wesley. I know that he's been criticised in his first 1 or 2 games of the season, but I think he's really come on. He's a good target man for them, and now he's adding a few goals as well, so Dean Smith will be delighted with that. Yeah. I'm not sure if he would usually be their penalty taker. That would be interesting to know, or whether it's just because he was on the hat-trick, but it seems a theme this season that players are taking penalties when maybe they shouldn't be.
Yeah, Pogba springing to mind among various ones. You're spot on. Tell you what, let's just go back to the lunchtime game. Huge story. Spurs, of course, as we know, in all sorts of trouble, on and probably off the field. They lost 3-0 at Brighton, after which Spurs boss Maurizio Pochettino spoken to TalkSport's Sam Matterface.
What is your assessment of that performance today?
Yes, we cannot put this situation out. I think the emotional game I think was tough for the team. After 3 minutes to concede a goal and of course lose your captain was a massive impact for the team. We never can be on the game. We never find the way to change the dynamic. I think after the 7-2 again Bayern Munich, when you need to recover your best feeling, playing well, start to be consistent and recover your confidence, I think after 3 minutes it was a massive impact that the team never can term that
they
negative.
didn't come to terms with it.
Sorry?
They didn't come to terms with it. Is it a situation they should be able to come to terms with, though?
Well, it's difficult. It's not easy to play football. This type of situation, you can be affected. And of course, when we concede the second goal after the second, I think, shoot from Brighton, I think was really, really tough. The second half, we start really well. If you score from the beginning of the second half, I think maybe you have to change the dynamic. But of course, the game was over when we conceded the third goal.
You have conceded a lot of goals away from home. You've conceded a lot of goals in the last two games. What do you put it down to?
Yes, it's about that dynamic that is so negative for different circumstances, different reasons. We try to play in one way and another with different players, but on the end, of course, we didn't find that solution that we need to show in every single game when you need to be consistent. But yes, this type of period are always tough. The most important now is to realize about the situation and work hard to try to change the dynamic.
What do you think the situation is, and are you going to be able to put it right? It looks like the biggest challenge you've had since you've been at Tottenham.
No.
Would you agree with that?
In Tottenham, yeah, of course. Yes, in Tottenham, yes, agree. But not in my career like a coach, of course.
But you think this is the biggest challenge that you've had since you've been at Tottenham, and how are you going to sort it out?
Of course, it's a challenge to change that dynamic now. Of course, we are in a difficult moment, but the most important now is to have a clear idea what we need to do and knowing that always you need time to change the dynamic, the negative dynamic. It's like when you build a good run, a positive run, always you need time to turn these feelings, you need time to.
You and I have had lots of conversations, and especially about the way that you deal and interact with people. You're very good with your players in the dressing room. Do you still feel that your players are behind you?
That is not a question for me, but like always...
Do you get that feeling from them?
But let me to answer. Of course that I feel that we are all together, but no doubt about that.
And you're not worried about turning this situation round? You think you can do it? About turning this situation round. Losing games away from home, dropping points in positions where you're winning matches. You think you can turn it back to the Tottenham that got to the Champions League final?
You need to think that you are going to change the situations, of course. Winning mentality is that even losing, believing that you can win, and of course we are very competitive and we are winning people, and of course we are going to fight until to the end.
3-0 defeat at Brighton after a 7-2 against Bayern Munich. That's Spurs Maurizio Pochettino with TalkSport Sam Matterface. Hogan Ephraim, what do you make of that interview?
It was brutally honest from him. It seems like the interview is always a bit more harsh when the results aren't going well. The questions seem a bit harder. But no, I think he was right in what he said. Games can get emotional like that when you see one of your friends, one of your teammates suffer a serious injury, especially early in the game. It can affect players, and that would have played a part today, but that's not the be all and end all. We know there are problems at Tottenham currently, but I still believe he's the right man to fix it. I wouldn't want anyone else in charge if I was a Tottenham fan.
More from Hogan Ephraim in a couple of moments' time. Second half due underway in a couple of minutes at Anfield. Liverpool leading 1-0 against Leicester heading into part 2 right here, Premier League Live.
As we look down from the cradle of our hot air balloon, we wonder as a svelte ocean of stampeding gazelles gallop majestically earthbound towards a water hole.
Something
this here, Watson. Oh, lovely. Mine's a pint. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Your natural selection for the big game, bodacious banter and bookings. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6
on Talk Sport. Masters of Drive Time Radio, Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
Drive, she said. I'll tell you when to stop.
Big names and big comments from the best in the business.
Darren never did need to step up the performances. I still think United will finish in the top 4.
Scattergun sports talk and explosive opinion.
James Carragher.
I'm talking to Gary Neville and Adrian Durham. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have known who to punch first.
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
I love the smell of football in the afternoon.
Weekday afternoons from 4.
Butter me buns.
On Talk Sport.
Hello, Jim White here. Sorry, I've just nipped into the dentist for a quick checkup. Was that open wide? All right. Well, never mind that. Polish up your radio tomorrow morning from 10 when I'll be extracting the biggest names in football and filling your morning with the biggest and best stories I can get my teeth into.
Jim White! Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Can I rinse out now? Oh, sorry, I missed the sing there.
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on TalkSport.
Join the cutthroat posse in the last chance saloon of sporting prowess.
Come and Navajo if you think you're hard enough.
They'll be rustling up tomorrow's back pages as they send you crashing headfirst along the bar of sport.
It's the good, the bad, and the Cundy.
Get off your horse and drink your milk.
On the Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on TalkSport.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock on TalkSport. The cornerstone of any nutritious sports breakfast.
A morning delivery of big names and essential game talk, discreetly wrapped and violently lobbed over the fence onto your radio. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
100% pure Scotch beef.
Monday morning from 6
on Talk Sport. Driving home with Darren Goff and Durham, a sporting legend and an angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him, I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4 only on Talk Sport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Leicester City from Anfield. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves. Alongside me is the former West Ham, QPR and Toronto FC attacker Hogan Ephraim. And this is Premier League Live. The players coming out from the tunnel beneath us. Liverpool unchanged. Leicester making a half-time substitution. Harvey Barnes goes off. Got to say, I thought he did perfectly fine, Harvey Barnes. So if there's an injury that we're unaware of, we'll try and let you know. He's replaced by another man who is part of the title-winning 11, Mark Albrighton. What do you make of that, Hogan?
Yeah, I'm guessing that there must be some sort of niggle or some sort of injury. I can't see the need for the change otherwise. I know that the Leicester players think so highly of Mark Albrighton and love playing alongside him, so he'll want to come on and do what he usually does. He works hard, puts in great crosses, and Vardy will be hoping especially that he can produce that.
Possibly experience in leadership, we'll wait and see. Maybe just that little bit of a wily head. Liverpool already with one promising counter-attack, which the Leicester defence just about deal with as Bobby Firmino burst forward. Leicester clear it in fairly hasty fashion and play it straight back to Liverpool, who lead here on Premier League Live 1-0 courtesy of Sadio Mane's goal on 40 minutes. Liverpool straight back on it early in the second half. Andy Robertson thought about marauding downfield, but options were limited. Played it back to James Milner, and he assisted the goal for Mane. Milner with a delightful crossfield ball, play stretched to the right. Trent Alexander-Arnold, clever delivery, deflection. Mo Salah's effort brilliantly saved, falls back to Salah, who can't get his shot away from close range. Mo Salah denied by Kasper Schmeichel. We'll get Hogan Ephraim's thoughts in a second, because Liverpool are back on the attack, or they were. Andy Robertson's crossfield ball looking for Alexander-Arnold was not as good as the delivery from Milner. Liverpool poke downfield, handball, and we can now pause and analyse that chance.
Great reactions there from Kasper Schmeichel, one of the best shot stoppers in the Premier League, and that's a fantastic save. Alexander-Arnold, he holds the whip, waits for the switch of play. I think Salah would have been offside. I know the flag didn't go up, but it looked like he maybe a yard offside there. But great reactions there from Kasper Schmeichel.
Schmeichel with an excellent save. That's twice we've seen good saves in this game from probably offside positions. One from Adrian and now one from Kasper Schmeichel. So 3 title winners now on the field, with Albrighton joining the ranks of Vardy and the Danish stopper. Andy Robertson feels that Liverpool should have had the throw just beneath as it's gone to Leicester, midway inside the Liverpool half. Pereira to Albrighton. First touch from him is a low right-footed cross that Fabinho cuts out. Half cleared as far as Johnny Evans. He pumps it back in. Ronaldo's back heel brings the ball down. Takes a ricochet to Sadio Mane. Now to Firmino, who's in space. Leicester had committed players forward. Will it cost them? Here's Roberto Firmino running up against Johnny Evans, and Evans one-on-one, edge of the penalty area, did really well.
Great 1v1 defending. He's so good there, Johnny Evans, at reading the game. He's someone that you wouldn't mind if there's a lot of space and you can run at him, but in those situations he's so good at reading just short, sharp stuff around his feet.
Here's Albrighton infield. Vardy dummies, hoping the ball might trundle its way through to James Maddison. It doesn't. Maddison frustrated as Leicester lose possession. Liverpool again try to counter-attack. Salah in a near one-on-one against Schmeichel. Schmeichel slides out, gets there ahead of the Egyptian, but then loses his footing, drops the ball, but it doesn't cost the away side.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mess that from Schmeichel, but he got away with it.
Atmosphere really ramped up early in this second half, full of intensity. Not necessarily quite see the quality we would have liked in the game, but we've had the drama, we've had the freneticism and the high stakes you would associate with the Premier League. As Liverpool look for a second to try and kill this game off. Alexander-Arnold looking for Salah. Soyuncu gets there. The two hotly contesting the ball on the far side. Decision of the official is the ball came off Soyuncu. The Turk pretty convinced it came off Salah.
He's got to just play home there. He's trying to turn out the other way and play off his left foot, and it's crazy defending. Just play home to Schmeichel. There was no pressure on him.
Robertson picks up the ball from Van Dijk. Little 1-2 with Firmino, who's hugging the touchline at this stage early in the second half. Virgil van Dijk turns Jamie Vardy. All over the top looking for Milner. Slightly overhit. Can Milner get there? He may have got there, but Ricardo Pereira did more than enough, the Portuguese, to come back and shepherd the ball in fairly robust fashion behind for a goal kick. United has tweeted in saying still fancy this match ending in a draw. The Baluthman says the same in Ibadan in Nigeria. He also hopes that Roberto Firmino scores for the sake of his fantasy league. We'll see. Olawami is listening from Sydney, Australia. He says good job so far. I trust Liverpool will hold on to win, but Fawazu thinks that Leicester will come from behind and take this one. That would be massive, and for me still unlikely. Now Leicester, a bit like today's goal at the back, as they try to play it out between Evans and keeper Schmeichel. In the end, Evans just about gets it back as two Liverpool strikers on rush. It's a hasty clearance, and the whole point about playing out from the back is surely not to make a hasty clearance.
Exactly. I think Rodgers is going to be looking for a lot more quality from his side. They've done well in spells, but they haven't been as composed and haven't had the quality on the ball that you'd expect from some of their players who are top players. So he'll want them to raise their games. They need to get Maddison on the ball, and I think he'll leave it 10-15 minutes and think about bringing Maddison inside if it continues like this. I don't think he'll keep him out on the wing if they're struggling for possession.
So far, with Albrighton going down and winning a free kick off Robertson, it's not really quite gone Rodgers' side's way. They've had their moments, as we thought, but they've maybe not had long enough good spells as he would have liked.
What will be a worry for him is the best spell they had is when Liverpool went and got the goal. They seemed to have 3, 4, 5 minutes of pressure, and then Liverpool went up the other end and scored, so he'll be wary of that.
That moment of quality that is the difference between the teams so far, and one of the reasons why Liverpool sits so proudly atop the Premier League table. Albrighton's cross was not the worst, but Leicester on that occasion just hadn't committed enough players forward, and Liverpool dealt with it pretty easily. Leicester pushed back. Wijnaldum putting Chilwell under pressure. Chilwell turns nicely, plays it to Evans, to Pereira, and now to Albrighton. Albrighton around Milner with outrageous piece of skill, but then he tries to do it again and loses it second time around. Ricardo Pereira, one bit of brilliance, then he overplayed and got a bit too confident. And Liverpool come forward again. Virgil van Dijk just about beat Vardy, and then Ndidi is adjudged to have fouled Virgil van Dijk. Leicester not happy.
No, I'm not sure it was a foul. He looked like he overran the ball a bit. There might have been a little touch on it, but I'm not sure. But no, I wouldn't be giving that as a foul. Unbelievable skill from Ricardo Pereira, and then the simple 2-yard pass he gives away straight after it. So I think that kind of sums Leicester up to a degree. A moment of quality and then just a basic error.
Nearly 52 played. Liverpool 1, Leicester 0. Listening to Premier League Live, and another free kick. It's getting quite fractious and really quite bitty and quite crotchety, isn't it, out there?
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't be surprised if Ndidi could be getting subbed off soon.
Ndidi is getting fairly frustrated, I can tell you. Fans are getting stuck in as well now as it gets to boiling point here on Merseyside. Reds leading 1-0, 52 on the clock as Adrian, the Liverpool keeper, plays the ball downfield. Powerful header from Soyuncu, who got there ahead of Mane. Alexander-Arnold keeps it in, pumps it downfield, good ball. Salah turns Soyuncu beautifully. A tug, is that going to be a penalty? Oh, it's a free kick right on the edge of the area. Soyuncu found himself in all sorts of trouble, tugged Salah's shirt. It was half a yard outside being a penalty. Yellow card for Paglar Soyuncu.
He's actually done well in the end to make sure it is outside of the box, but he's getting himself into a battle he can't win. Salah's too strong for him, too quick for him, too nimble for him. You can see the difference in the height and whatnot. As that ball's bouncing, it's always going to be Salah's ball. And he's done well to make the foul just before it's got into the penalty box, but now he's going to have to be careful on a yellow card.
Good spot from the officials. It was just outside the edge of the box. It was tough to tell from the naked eye, but probably about a yard out. So a Liverpool free kick. Robin Michael Thomas listening from sunny Brazil, praying for his Reds to get the result they want and need. And at the moment they're on track, Robin, leading 1-0, 53 on the clock here on Premier League Live. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah, the two players standing over this free kick, and it is just that half yard out from the edge of the penalty area, just to the far right hand corner of the box itself. Referee Chris Kavanagh gets out his magic spray, makes sure that Leicester's wall is 10 yards back. Salah's going to take it, curling effort. It was a good effort from Mo Salah. It just clipped the top of the Leicester wall. Vardy with the block. Salah picks up the loose ball, puts in another first time ball, headed clear by Ben Chilwell. Reds throw.
Yeah, the wall's just strong. They've done their jobs well there, because Salah looked like he connected well, had decent power in it and looked to be travelling, so well done to the guys in the wall.
There's been another goal at Carrow Road in that game between two recently promoted teams, Norwich and Aston Villa. It was 2-0 to Villa. We'll let you know how that one pans out in a second. And this time Liverpool just overplay a little bit, and Leicester clear their lines through Chilwell. Ball over the top looking for Vardy, who again is ploughing a little bit of a lone furrow. Liverpool win it back comfortably. Milner with another nice extravagant but successful long range pass to Robertson. Back to Dejan Lovren, who goes back to his goalkeeper. Vardy tries to close down and put Adrian under pressure, but Adrian gets rid of it with plenty of time to spare. Tielemans cuts out the clearance. Fabinho then wins it back on the other side. 9 attempts in the game from Liverpool so far, 5 on target, none on target so far from Leicester. Wijnaldum, Robertson, very ambitious appeals for handball there off Johnny Evans, who did stick an arm out, but I think it caught his thigh. Referee Kavanagh, well placed and quite rightly, says play on. 55 gone. Reds 1, Leicester 0 on Leicester manager Brendan Rodgers' return to his old stomping ground, where he has received, we should say, a good reception, as Jurgen Klopp rightly asked for. 1-2 between Mane and Salah is delightful, and it's just wide. Some of the Reds fans cheered because it was just wide, hit the advertising hoarding and nestled behind the netting. From behind it looked like a goal. It wasn't, but it was mightily close. Again, almost from nowhere, Mane injects the quality and pace. 1-2 with Salah, inches wide.
That seemed destined for a goal there. Once you saw Mane was going to get to it, it seemed destined, but Evans with a last-ditch tackle done very well. Ends up kicking it off Mane just wide of the post. But we spoke about Leicester's fullbacks before the game, and I've never seen them have such bad quality on the ball. They've been really, really poor in possession. Pereira and Chilwell giving it away time and time again, and it's very unlike them. Here it is once again. running into no man's land.
Pereira's come infield to try and slot a ball through, lost it, and there's now a gap. Firmino tries to exploit it. Salah and Mane get in each other's way there, and Mane leaves the ball for Salah after a frustrating pause, and the two really do affect each other there. And I know there was that bit of a disagreement between the two a couple of weeks ago, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
Mane talked pre-match in the Champions League press conference in midweek about how there was no problem between them, and I guess that just back it up, that both left it for each other.
Yeah.
Too polite. It's like when you cross on a sidewalk and you both go the same way to allow the other one through.
I think Salah at times can be what's the word? He can be a bit greedy, to be fair. I think he can be a selfish player, whereas Mane, he's very much a team player, so I can see where there would be disagreements, but as long as both are getting goals and both on a winning team, then I'm sure we'll be fine.
Are all really good out-and-out strikers, though, not a little bit greedy?
I don't think so, no. I look at some of the best in Premier League history. When you look at Thierry Henry, Robin van Persie, Wayne Rooney, I think these players would always get a load of assists as well as goals, and they'd always look for the best option for the team.
Nice ball over the top by Albrighton to the far side for Leicester. Prayet infield to Ndidi, who has stayed on the field despite those couple of minutes of madness. He seems to have calmed down a bit. Liverpool's defence, for once on the back foot, dealt with it nicely. Mane comes out and miscontrols, and Leicester get it back. Ndidi to Maddison, not seen much of James Maddison so far. Beats one player, can't be the second as he gets the ball trapped underneath his foot. Still finds Tielemans. Tielemans' ball is a strange one. Prayet, his compatriot Belgian, from very close range, controls it well. Out to the near side, still Leicester attack through Albrighton. Albrighton, good wily player, as we suspected he might bring when he came on as a half-time sub. Plays the ball off Robertson, who can't regather himself, and behind for a Leicester corner.
He did well, that was the best he could hope for at that situation. He faked to go down the line, played it against him, and it's a nice play. And now this is the chance that Leicester want to take. Their fifth corner of the game. They've looked fairly threatening from corners. Madison's delivery has been fantastic. They need to go and win this first header. This
is one stat, as Hogan says, that Leicester have dominated 5 corners to Liverpool's 2, but they're still 1 down. 58 minutes in. Maddison takes it, right-footed, out-swinging delivery. No one really attacked it with any true purpose. Staying Lovren near his own goal line, got it clear. Maddison keeps the ball in play is the decision. Fans don't like it. Back heel from Prayet. Back to Maddison. Mane tries to block. Great delivery. Vardy couldn't quite get there, just beyond him. And just shy of the on-rushing centre halves for Leicester. Trent Alexander-Arnold with the interception at the expense of a corner.
Brilliant delivery. The shape on the cross from Maddison there, unbelievable. It misses Vardy by inches.
Big developments at Carrow Road in a moment, and also in the Everton game as well. We'll go there in a second too, but we'll stay here at Anfield on Premier League Live first for this Leicester corner. Third place Foxes, Brendan Rodgers' team. The goal down at his old stomping ground, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Maddison will take it again, in swinger this time. Decent delivery, looking for Sionchu. It was his number 4 on number 4, and Virgil van Dijk was the man who made the clearance. Now Liverpool counter-attack. The searing, burning pace of young Trent Alexander-Arnold, right-footed down the left flank, and well done Dennis Prayet, who stuck with him, made the interception. First to Carrow Road.
Played off by Buendia, but cut out by Nakamba. Now it's Grealish driving past Amadou, edge of the box, little layout on the far side. Amwell passes it back to Grealish. Grealish makes it 3-0. As cool and as easy as you like. 49th minute. Jack Grealish stripes it in from 10 yards.
Goal for the Villa skipper Jack Grealish. 3-0. Remarkable stuff. Liverpool lose possession there. Firmino is dispossessed by Ndidi, who has calmed down, hasn't he, to be fair?
Yeah, he has. I think he knew he had to. Being on the yellow card, and he made 2 fouls in quick succession after that. So he's calmed down. I just think that they'll be looking for a change soon anyway. They're going to have to get Maddison more central and closer to Vardy, and hopefully that they can have a little bit of combination play.
Andrew Self with that goal at Carrow Road. Barry Swain keeping an eye on events at Turf Moor, where there's been a sending off.
That's a forearm of Coleman, and it's a red card for Seamus Coleman. Well, when you're on a yellow card, you just don't challenge like that. And Everton are down to 10 men, as Seamus Coleman hands over his captain's armband and trundles off towards the corner of the stadium and down the tunnel.
Barry Swain there describing Seamus Coleman, such an important veteran figure for Everton, sent off. Bad to words for Marco Silva's men. Under pressure, nearest the foot of the table, and now a man down. No such problems across Stanley Park for Liverpool. They lead 1-0, but Andy Robertson dispossessed. A rarity there by Ricardo Pereira did well. Long ball over the top, which Maddison wins against Alexander-Arnold, who was slightly out of position. Maddison gets it back. Chilwell on the overlap. Ben Chilwell in two minds there. Didn't commit to the cross. And frustratingly from Leicester's point of view, Maddison tries to win the ball back, but fouls his man. Chilwell could have done better, I think, with that delivery.
Once again, it's another show of how poor they've been on the ball, the two Leicester fullbacks. These are two of the best fullbacks in the league who usually produce so much quality, but that cross there, it's just so tame, it's half-hearted, and Vardy must be pulling his hair out. He wants something fired across the box which he can commit himself to.
Well, Leicester and Man City, the only teams to pick up a point at Anfield in the Premier League last season. Leicester struggling to do it this time around, it feels. And here they come again, Liverpool. Mo Salah putting Sancho under pressure, of course now on a yellow card as well. Turkish centre-half, but he did okay there, the youngster. Chilwell with Mane all over him. Did Mane just tug his shirt there? Fans don't think so. Mane with a wry smile. Chilwell picks himself up and I think does win the free kick.
If he did, he didn't have to, because he had him under such good pressure. Chilwell was going nowhere, so he's kind of let him off the hook by giving him the free kick there.
So Leicester will have a chance to clear their lines in just a second. I told you pre-match I fancied Villa at Norwich. Definitely fancy them now.
Godfrey found McLean. McLean's given it to Buendia, who's caught late there. Chance on the edge of the box. It's 4-0. It's sucked in by Conor Hourihane for his fourth goal of the season. 61 on the clock. How many could Aston Villa get by the end of the game?
Blimey, Andrew Self with a fourth for Dean Smith's villains, who are running riot at Norwich City. Here Yuri Tielemans with a nice little jinking run, but there was really a paucity of options for him, I have to say, and in the end it ended up back with Adrian. Long kick forward from him. Sadio Mane, again with a slightly fortuitous ricochet, wins it. They'll take that. Alexander-Arnold back to Mane. Man on was the cry from the Liverpool fans. Maddison trying to dispossess Mane, but he reacted just in time. Did Sadio Mane, the goal scorer so far today. Liverpool 1, Leicester 0, Premier League Live, 63.5 minutes gone. Pause again for Liverpool from the fans as they just calmly play themselves out of trouble and reset and try to formulate another attack. Van Dijk to Robertson, 1-2, lovely one between Salah and Robertson. Robertson's delivery not the best on that occasion, shakes his head in frustration as Johnny Evans makes the interception on the edge of his own penalty area. And the former Man United player hacks it downfield, looking for Vardy. Vardy no change again in the air from Van Dijk. Liverpool on the attack again. Close control and so close to a second. Bobby Firmino took it down on his left foot, pirouetted, fired with his right from the edge of the box, about a yard wide of Schmeichel's right hand post.
That first touch is frightening. He's just killed the ball dead in an instant. What a touch that is from Firmino. He's got the shot off, he's just dragged it wide, but unbelievable first touch.
Really, really close. Bobby Firmino has only scored 3 in comparison to Salah and Mane, 6 so far this season. So he's the one who's effectively the central target man nominally. Not quite matching his two colleagues in terms of goals, but mightily close there. And he's got, again, a good all-round work rate, hasn't he, as you alluded to before, someone who scores and assists as also Mane does.
Yeah, great all-round player. He's the link man. He presses from the front. He's just fantastic all-round. And he just suits this system and these two wide men perfectly. I think any of the three, all fantastic players in their own right, but I'm not sure that they'd look the same without one another. I think they just all bring the best out of each other, and it's a great front three Liverpool have.
Certainly is working well for Liverpool, who lead this game by a goal to nil, unbeaten in 43 league home games. Could that change? Ball over the top looking for Vardy. Vardy found himself admittedly out wide, but kind of in a one-on-one situation. Tried to take it round Adrian. Adrian does well.
Has to score. He has to score. What a pass that is from Mark Albrighton. As Kevin De Bruyne-esque, the touch is poor from Vardy. I think he has to score that. The touch is poor, gets too close to Adrian. And then the best you can hope for is a little stab at it there, but you take a decent first touch, that's 1-1, sorry.
Normally we say that Vardy is very good at feeding off scraps in games and doing little and then taking opportunities. Well, Brighton's ball, I agree, was delicious, and Vardy couldn't do it. Now Salah at the other end to Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson with a really powerful drive, a yard either side of Schmeichel. It's a goal. It's straight at the gate. It sends him cartwheeling backwards, but Schmeichel keeps it out, and we stay at 1-0.
You've hit the nail on the head, a yard either side, and that's 2-0 there. Because it's a great chance. He's hit it straight at the goalkeeper there. But great play from him and Salah to link up and make the chance initially.
Massive drama at either end. Jamie Vardy put through, tricky angle, but his first touch, as Hogan Ephraim says, was not good enough. And in the end, an outstretched leg was enough. Here come Liverpool again. Is Salah offside? Don't think he is. 1-on-1. Salah saved. Oh, fantastic stuff in the end from Schmeichel. Salah bearing through. Everybody stopped for a second. Let's take a look at the replay. He is onside just against Sionchu. Ball through from Firmino. An embarrassing gap. So much chance there. Salah, I think truly himself wasn't sure maybe. And in a rather undecisive, rare fashion, fluffs his lines and we stay 1-0.
Yeah, great pass from Firmino, but that's what they've got. He comes off short. You have runners in behind like Salah or Mane on other occasions. The pace to burn, and that weighted pass was brilliant from Firmino.
Was it in his mind maybe he was offside? He just seemed to lack the customary conviction we see from Salah in that situation.
Yeah, I think once Schmeichel did save it, they've ended up giving the offside. The lineswoman had a flag up for quite a while, so maybe he knew. I think Sionchu had almost given up on it, so which is a bit of a risky game to play now with VAR, of course.
Absolutely, that was given late. Obviously you have to wait till the player touches the ball, but even so, certainly everybody around this stadium was not sure for a good chunk of time there about that decision. In the end, we'll give Salah maybe the benefit of the doubt, as here come Leicester at the other end. Still Salah, I feel, could have done better. Leicester trying to make the most of riding their luck there. It was Maddison at one end, the ball goes back downfield again. Johnny Evans up against Salah. Was there a shirt pull? Referee being surrounded by players, and again the atmosphere boiling over big time here on Merseyside.
Yeah, the game's getting heated now. There've been chances at both ends. A couple of tackles flying in there.
Evans is basically rugby tackling Salah, looking at the big screen replay here.
Yeah, very heavy handed on him there.
It's a free kick. No more.
I think Ndidi might talk himself into trouble as well.
Wilfred Ndidi, who's already on a yellow card, has come across and very much had his say. And eventually Johnny Evans is going to go into the book. The Liverpool fans jeer because it wasn't initially given as a yellow card. Ndidi's incensed. Evans is frustrated about how long it took to be booked. And I don't see Perez is about to come on. The man who was dropped from the Newcastle win. Harsh when your team wins 5-0, but it's to reaccommodate Maddison, you get it. Perez will be coming on in a moment.
I'd be surprised if that wasn't for Ndidi, him being on the yellow card. I think they could put Perez wide on the right.
But you'd end up basically playing 5 behind Vardy and I don't know.
I think they'll go
who'd hold?
Maybe Tillemans and Prayer as the holders with Maddison in the hole.
So push them back, push the others up.
Yeah,
okay.
Put Maddison in the number 10 position, Albrighton switch to the left and Perez on the right is what I think they'll be doing.
We'll see if that happens at the other end. Ben Chilwell goes for a speculative cross. It was a long, deep, curling one looking for Prayet. And in the end, Adrian did deal with it, but it wasn't easy. Wow. Really caught fire again in the last couple of moments. Still Liverpool 1, Leicester 0 as we tick toward 70 minutes. No change, by the way, elsewhere. So it's still Norwich 0, Villa 4, including a missed penalty for Villa. Still Burnley 0, Everton 0, but Everton down to 10 men after Seamus Coleman's red card. Still Watford 0, Sheffield United 0. Earlier, Brighton beat Spurs with that Hugo Lloris injury and the pressure on Mopo 3-0. Later, commentary of West Ham Crystal Palace with Tom Reddy and the team at 5:30. Liverpool go for the second. Great turn from Wijnaldum, eyeing up a shot at goal. Is Gini Wijnaldum? It's on target. Saved low to his right, unsighted Kasper Schmeichel. He did well to save it at the first time of asking.
Wijnaldum uses his body brilliantly there, just brushes off Ndidi, gets it onto his right foot. It's a decent strike, one that Schmeichel was comfortable with, and then a nice save.
Looks like it's going to be Prayet who's going to come off for Perez, so not what we thought maybe is the way they do it. So I think maybe the shape will stay the same. It's more of a personnel switch. I know maybe who is in that attacking form may switch their position, but we're probably still staying 4-1-4-1.
Yeah, you'd think so then. You'd think it'll be Ndidi holding with Tillemans and Maddison joining him.
70 and a half minutes played. Premier League Live. Liverpool still leading Leicester by that 1-0. As we say, unbeaten in 43 league home games. It's the longest run in all top 5 European leagues, and it's the second longest run in club history for Liverpool. But they're under pressure here as Vardy breaks on the left edge of the penalty area. See more of the ball now, Jamie Vardy, but he had precious little options around him. Liverpool won it back easily, and they counter-attack again. This is a danger for Leicester. When they attack, they commit men forward and they leave gaps. Salah tries to find Mane. It's miles behind Mane. Given how many goals and assists these lot get, they also have so many misunderstandings as well, don't they?
They do. But I think that they can take the risk, because it seems like they get a chance every minute and a half, so they can take risks with the ball. Oh, if Firmino could have got that pass right, Salah would have been in.
Yeah, talking of misunderstandings, Tielemans then gave the ball away to Liverpool, who, as Hogan says, didn't make the most of it, but they win it back again. Firmino to Mane, tries to flick it onto Salah on the edge of the D. And Liverpool can't quite make that one stick either. Albrighton wins it back for Leicester, and the Foxes clear their lines this time. Poor ball from Pereira, asked too much of Ndidi. His close control wasn't great, it nearly freed Milner. He then miscontrolled it and Leicester won it back. It's a slight comedy of errors as now the Foxes counter-attack. This really is frenetic stuff. It's not been the most action-packed game in terms of quality, but boy has it delivered on its moment. Good effort for the Premier League nonetheless. Albrighton, long delivery. Chilwell chests it down, played over the head of Alexander-Arnold, who maybe could have done better. Vardy tries to turn and get the shot away. Fabinho blocks it. Shot from distance is just wide from Dennis Prayet. Quality midfielder. The Belgian, first time, eyes lit up, had a pop, just wide of goal.
You cannot hit a ball much cleaner than that. It's an unbelievable strike. He connects perfectly, strikes straight through it, just drags wide of the post. But he made a pass in the build-up to that attack prior, and it was with it outside of his boot to switch the play. Just fantastic stuff from him.
He is the man going off. Of course, that decision made earlier, that was beautiful, and generally he's played quite well. I'm not sure he is the man I would have sacrificed. To his credit, gives Brendan Rodgers his boss a high five and walks straight to the dugout to sit with his colleagues. So fair play to him, but I can understand how he might be a bit frustrated as the man sacrificed.
Yeah, of course. I think he's been very impressive today. One of the most impressive performances I've seen from him in a Leicester shirt. So he'll be disappointed coming off, but he could be happy with the shift he's put in, and there's no doubt in my mind that he'll be on the team sheet for the next game.
Completely agree with that. So big call from Brendan Rodgers. Perez comes on, the former Newcastle striker. He started in that 5-0 thumping of his old team, the Magpies, last Sunday. Liverpool back on the attack. Milner, though, dispossessed. And Ndidi, who did stay on the field with a good challenge, finds Maddison, who's deep now, trying to get the ball way back in his own half. Long ball for Vardy, easily cut out again by Van Dijk. Milner, centre of the field. Salah with a nice little offload to Firmino. Good challenge, though, from Maddison, who does seem to have pushed a bit deeper in these last couple of moments. Decent challenge. And Leicester get it back. Only 74 played. Liverpool 1, Leicester 0. Crossfield ball from the Foxes here on Premier League Live. Nice ball from Chilwell to the edge of the penalty area to Perez. One-on-one situation with Lovren. Let's see Perez. Goes onto his weaker left foot, tries to get the cross in. But then Lovren blocks it well. Largely a solid effort from Lovren on his return to the team.
He's done well today, because he would have been the area of the team that Leicester would have been trying to exploit, but he's put in a good solid performance so far.
Chilwell had the chance to cross from the far side. We've seen a couple of better deliveries from Ben Chilwell in this second half, but that one was not great. It was more like the first half, and it was disappointing. Yakudin says Liverpool are unstoppable. It will be impossible for the Foxes to come back. You might be right. I don't think it's quite that clear cut, but it may well yet be another Liverpool win. Just over 15 to go. At TalkSport Live, have your say. Alassori says fantastic finish from Mane. Liverpool nailed on for that 17th win. Again, we will see. One more from Peter Sahondri, listening from Yukon, Oklahoma. He's on his mail route. Mailman delivering the mail. Let's go Reds. He's got us in his earphones. Peter, great work. Good to hear from you. At TalkSport Live, let us know your thoughts on the title race, on where Leicester can finish as they go for another one. Liverpool, ball over the top. Is Salah onside this time? The decision is yes. The linesman's flag stays down. Salah, though, couldn't bear down on goal as he would have liked. Eventually the ball ricocheted to Firmino. His shot was blocked. Leicester breathe a hefty sigh of relief, trying to counter-attack themselves. Albrighton to Maddison with a deft first touch. Flicks it neatly to Ricardo Pereira, the right back. Foxes have moved the ball to halfway inside the Liverpool half. Maddison, though, is left with very little to do. Loses out to Milner. Liverpool counter-attack. Mane can't get there from Salah's delivery. Again, those two not quite on the same wavelength today. Kasper Schmeichel, relief goalkeeper, to claim that one on the edge of his 6-yard box.
I think Mane had to stay away there. He had to pull away and occupy Johnny Evans and just let Salah go one-on-one with Soyuncu there. He's on a yellow card. Just make him run it and run him into the box and commit the defender and see what he decides to do.
Massive goal at Turf Moor. We'll take you there in a second after this Leicester attack. It is end-to-end. Here's Chilwell cutting in field. Goes past Alexander-Arnold. He's looking for Perez. Asked a bit too much of Perez. It may well have been a corner. It might have flicked off another Liverpool player, which is why Dane Loughran tracked the ball, slid and kept it in play, and conceded a throw and no more. Chilwell a bit frustrated on the far corner that he doesn't have too many options. Tielemans runs in and gives him an option. It's all a bit static in terms of the build-up, but what can the Foxes do? Tielemans to Ndidi. They switch the passage of play from left to right. Pereira with a rare miscontrol, but he's still got time to get it second time around. Finds Albrighton to Ndidi. Evans back to Pereira. Sadio Mane ever high in his work rate, sticking to it like glue. So Leicester are forced to come from right to left now, back to where they started the attack a couple of moments ago. Soyuncu to Chilwell, forced onto his weaker right foot, tries to guide it through to Perez. The combination of Mane and Alexander-Arnold get it clear. Leicester with 59% possession in the second half to Liverpool's 41. The Reds won't care if they get the 3 points. But they're about to make a couple of substitutions of their own. Club captain Jordan Henderson and Divock Origi, the players to come on. Fashini Wijnaldum and Bobby Firmino. What do you make of those changes?
Yeah, I think he's trying to stifle it up now. These last 15 minutes will be a worry for him. He knows with a 1-goal lead he can't just sit back and bank on that, so he's going to want a threat on the break, which Origi will give more than Firmino, I'd say. And Henderson, you know what he brings to the team. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of hard work, and he has got that quality where he can make a pass.
Sticking to that big goal then at Turf Moor.
So some corner and arrived at the far post was Hendrick, and he steers the ball high into the roof of the net, and Burnley have the lead. Well, he scored a late goal to earn a point away at Brighton a few weeks ago, and it's another very, very good finish.
Jeff Hendrick with the goal, as described there by Barry Swain. And just quickly, that pressure now on Everton and on their boss Marco Silva, it's going to be wrapped up and some, surely.
Yeah, I think that the pressure will be mounting, and I don't think when managers are under pressure they really look forward to the international break, because that's the trigger where chairman and owners usually like to make a change, because it gives the new manager a couple of weeks to work with the players, or the players that are left over, I should say. So it's worrying times for him.
Will that trigger be pulled or not by the Everton board? They've spent big. Got the new ground, of course, to come in a couple of years. It's not going to plan. Here on Merseyside, their bitter local rivals Liverpool. They're not been at their best today, but they're about to go, you would think, 8 points clear again for 24 hours at least in the Premier League. We've got about 11.5 minutes to go. Liverpool still lead Leicester by 1-0. So now 1-0 to Burnley against 10-man Everton. Villa still 4 up at Norwich and have missed a penalty. It's still goalless between Watford and Sheffield United. West Ham Crystal Palace, our 5:30 commentary game UK. And earlier, Brighton 3, Spurs 0. Hugo Lloris with a mistake and then what appears to be a serious injury as he fell. The pressure mounting big time from Tottenham's manager Mauricio Pochettino. From the brilliance of a few months ago, it's all going wrong. Here come Leicester looking for the equaliser, deflection, and James Maddison fires it in out of nowhere. Leicester have never ever said die in this game. They've kept coming. The ball is guided through a ricochet to Maddison, who reacts, turns and fires home. Maddison is back with a bang, and Liverpool have got some serious work to do to keep their winning run going. Liverpool 1, Leicester 1.
What a goal that is. Mark Albrighton's pass here is fantastic. This pass into Jose Perez. Fabinho can't get to it. Jose Perez does brilliant. Van Dijk is ball watching. He doesn't see Maddison run off him. Van Dijk has to do more there and drop a yard off.
Good turn from Perez. Shot may or may not take a sliver of a deflection off Loughran. It hits the goalkeeper who can't keep it out.
Yeah, so close to the goalkeeper. He can't get down in time. It comes off him, and it's a great goal. But that's what happens. You get Maddison central. He's a massive threat. We saw it against Tottenham last week, and now again. This guy has turned into such a player, and I'd be amazed if he doesn't feature in the next 2 England games coming up.
What he needs to learn, and maybe now, is games that don't suit him and games where he's a bit peripheral, he can get a bit niggly and frustrated. We've seen the odd sign of it here, but it's about contributing even when the chips are down and keeping your composure, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think he's a sort of player, even if you are under pressure and he's not getting into the game, he shouldn't get too frustrated, because he's probably got the best delivery from set pieces in the Premier League. So all he needs is little moments like that, and that's what he has to take from it, and stay switched on and your chance will come.
Hussein CFC Aiden has tweeted in, just pointing out Leicester's poor record against teams in the top 6, the supposed big 6 away from home. In recent years they've only had one win against any of those clubs, which was a 1-0 win at Chelsea a couple of years ago. Interesting that they have now got a goal at a place like Liverpool. This is one of the things that Brendan Rodgers is probably still working on, isn't it? To go to the toughest and best teams and get something.
Massively, because largely they've looked toothless today, and this would have been the second traditional top 6 side, along with Manchester United, that they've been away to and not really been a threat. So if it stayed 1-0, he would have been disappointed, but that little moment there, that will give them belief, where they can get in behind Fabinho, get in behind Van Dijk, 2 of the best in the Premier League in their positions. So it shows that in moments they can do that moment of brilliance, and that's what they'll be clutching to.
What a finale we've got here on Premier League Live for you. It's Liverpool 1, Leicester 1, with 8 minutes to go. Liverpool's long, proud winning run in the Premier League, not just at home, but of course away from Anfield as well. Is it about to come to an end? It's Leicester on the attack again. Jose Perez working Virgil van Dijk, who concedes the throw. And we'll just remake the point. This is Brendan Rodgers, the former Liverpool manager. First time he's managed the team back at Anfield. His house is still lived in by the current Liverpool boss, Jurgen Klopp. He couldn't make some of this up, and it's Leicester back on the attack with a magnificent Maddison, who's now putting Fabinho under all sorts of pressure just to the right edge of the box. Alexander-Arnold helps him out and gets it half clear to Mane. Mane upended by Tillmans, who claims there was no foul. I think there was. Liverpool have the free kick. They take it quickly. This is well and truly breathless. Robertson to Divock Origi, one of those 2 replacements we mentioned. Clever ball from Divock Origi. He was under a bit of pressure and decided to go long and flat as far as Lovren. Ball worked from the far side. Alexander-Arnold to Henderson, looking for Mane. Sanchi with the interception.
Yes, testing moments now for Liverpool. Leicester look like the ones in the ascendancy, but obviously with the quality that Liverpool have and how the fans are getting behind them, you know that a chance is going to come. It's about whether they can take it. Origi's done well here.
Origi onto his left foot, and well done Pereira, who stuck with him. Not been as easy as often as Hogan said for a kind of Pereira in this game, but he sticks to Origi well. It is though all at the expense of a Liverpool corner. Nearly 84 played, their third of the game to Leicester 6. We're locked at 1-1.
I think it's a massive, well, with stoppage time probably 9-10 minutes or so. So I think it's going to be a massive 9-10 minutes. Liverpool really need to win. Just keep putting pressure on Man City by winning early and then putting them under pressure to go and get a result.
Dangerous looking delivery, congested box, and it's Pereira again who hacks the ball to safety. Lovren was coming like a train through a sea of defenders.
It looked like he was going to get a clean connection. Jose Perez does brilliant in front of him. He's not someone that you would think putting his head on the line on his own 6-yard box, but great defending from Jose Perez.
Liverpool only the second team to win their first 7 games of a Premier League season. Chelsea won 9 way back in 2005-6 under Jose. They've won 8 before in the top flight in Division 1 in 1991. They're trying to match that record, but they need a goal in the last 6 minutes to do so. Short corner, Robertson's delivery, powerful header from Van Dijk just over the bar.
It's a great chance, fantastic delivery from Andy Robertson. The whip on that, the pace on the delivery. He has to do better there, Van Dijk. He's a man mountain. He's 10 yards out, free header. He has to hit the target. He has to get over the ball.
Well, just looking at that replay, it's very close, but as Hogan rightly says, a man with that physique, that height, that quality and that technique, he should have got that on target rather than being half a yard over the bar. Big call again from Brendan Rodgers, with question bringing Perez on for Pryor, and Perez set up the goal. Yep. So fair play there. This time Maddison, the goal scorer, goes off. Hamza Chowdhury comes on. Explain that one.
It's not a change I would have made. I know he's trying to make it more solid in there, but Maddison, with his quality from set pieces, it can take one moment and you can end up winning this game. So he's someone I would have played for the duration of the 90 minutes.
Sidewinder is listening from, as he calls it, the bottom right-hand corner of Australia, Geelong, loving the call in the middle of the night. Sidewinder, great to have you with us in Australia. Pleasure to bring you this game all around the world. It's coming to the boil fantastically. 4 and a bit minutes plus time added on to go. Premier League Live, Liverpool 1, Leicester 1. Here come Leicester. Albrighton had a shot. Whistle had gone. And the Liverpool fans are now saying that Leicester played on, time wasted, and there should be a yellow card. But Albrighton and Perez are saying, such is the cauldron of an atmosphere, they couldn't hear that the call had been made for the high boot.
Yeah, I think Liverpool a bit fortunate with the call. His leg, it's fairly high, but I didn't think it was anything outrageous. I thought Van Dijk ducked his head down towards the ball, so it was a little bit harsh there.
Captain Boone is cutting the grass, listening to us in North Carolina, saying, come on you Reds. Well, we'll see if your gardening can be completed with a goal or not. It's a very formative point in the game. Liverpool throw midway inside the Leicester half. Andy Robertson takes it as far as Origi. Rugby tackles Ricardo. It is the Rugby World Cup at the moment, not in these parts of the world, of course. And it's a free kick. Dangerous position.
Yeah, no, this is a chance. I think Alexander-Arnold, I'd expect to go over there and take it. I'd expect him to witness him with his delivery. Here he is coming over now to join Robertson. Van Dijk will be looking to get on the end of it like the last one.
Mahmoud Musa saying they're not sinks today, Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. You're right. And Estrella listening from Tima in Ghana, loving the closing stages of this one. Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, the two fullbacks over the ball. Robertson left-footed, in-swinging delivery, it's a good one, and Didi is there putting his body on the line for the Foxes, and he heads it to safety under massive pressure on the edge of his 6-yard box.
Great defensive header there from Ndidi. So tall, strong, great header, got enough height and distance on the ball as well to get it out of the danger zone.
Still Liverpool come again. Fabinho from Salah looking for Van Dijk. Brighton does well, good half-time sub. He's played really well since he came on, and now Leicester can counter-attack. Perez again is the provider, finds Jamie Vardy running at Dayan Lovren, beats him, puts it back into the middle, just behind one player and in front of another, and young Alexander-Arnold gets it half to safety. First touch, left edge of the box for Hamza Chowdhury, the sub to Chilwell, and Chilwell's dispossessed by Henderson. What a tackle there from the club captain on moments ago.
Brilliant, absolutely. Oh, there's trouble here.
Now did Salah push Soyuncu? I'm not sure. Chowdhury's come and hacked his man down. Hamza Chowdhury came steaming in. He's hacked Mo Salah down. Salah's lying in a heap. The fans are booing. It's a yellow card for Hamza Chowdhury. My goodness, this is just epic stuff.
It was a reckless tackle, but one that his teammates and manager will be so happy with him for making, because Salah looked to be driving into space there.
He's miles away from the ball.
Yeah, it's a horrible
miles
tackle.
away. I wasn't sure if Salah actually shoved Soyuncu slightly in the back on the far touchline, but that certainly wasn't spotted.
Yeah. See, those sort of tackles, especially when players run at such pace like that, it could end bad. But Salah looks to be okay, thankfully.
Rydor says, has Magnificent Maddison done enough? I am not sure is the answer, my friend. At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in. There has been another goal, by the way, in the Norwich Villa game. We'll go there in a second, but we have to stay, clearly, for this free kick. Liverpool 1, Leicester 1 as we tick to the final minute of the normal 90. Liverpool have won their last 16 Premier League games. Is that run about to come to an end or not? Deep delivery, poor delivery, miles over the defence, and it's right, funnily enough, by the Leicester fans, and they love the fact that Alexander-Arnold for once got it wrong.
Yeah, he let them off the hook massively there. These are a massive few minutes for Liverpool. I think it's so important, their last game for a couple of weeks, to put that pressure on Manchester City and win early. This would be such a lift for Manchester City if Liverpool drop points.
Roy Hodgson famously came here, former manager with West Brom, and won in 2012. This isn't quite as epic in terms of a potential draw, but Brendan Rodgers, back to his old stomping ground where he was largely loved, let's not forget it, had to go when results went south for too long. But he is a couple of minutes maybe away from guiding his team to a precious point.
This would be a brilliant point for them.
4 additional minutes, Hogan. 4.
A massive 4 minutes. If they drop points here, they'll be kicking themselves.
Free kick to Liverpool deep in their own half, and they do not mess around. Alexander-Arnold, who had that poor free kick a moment ago, picks out Robertson, but Robertson has 2 men on him. One's Albrighton. He wins it back but can't find Perez. Is Albrighton fouled by Robertson? The referee says no. Origi moves play from left to right. This is just frenetic stuff. Henderson, cross, another poor cross. I think that may well have been Alexander-Arnold again.
Just seems a bit desperate there.
Straight at the keeper.
Yeah, it seemed a bit desperate. Henderson set it back to him and he's not even had a look up, he's just looked to clip it in.
Adam Lallana's about to come on. One last throw of the dice for Liverpool. Let's take it to Carrow Road.
Little layoff to Wesley. Wesley now on his near side to Douglas Luiz, who curls in, and it's another goal. It's fine. It's the pick of the bunch. Douglas Luiz curls it in. Aston Villa 5, Norwich City 0 here at Carrow Road.
Crikey, Andrew Self, our commentator there. Still Burnley leading 10-man, Everton 1-0. Still goalless Watford, Sheffield United. Earlier, Brighton 3, Spurs 0. To come, West Ham, Crystal Palace with the brilliant David Connolly alongside our man Tom Rennie. Here, as we tick into the second of the 4 additional minutes, Mo Salah's taken a knock and he's hobbling.
That's that tackle we were talking about from Chowdhury with the pace that Salah was going at. It didn't look good. It didn't look good. I'm not sure it was enough for a red card, but it was forceful. It was a bit reckless, and now Salah, he'll do well to... Yeah, well, he's not going to continue, he's off.
Mo Salah goes off, having been hacked down by Hamza Chowdhury moments after the youngster came onto the field. And Adam Lallana, who's had desperate little game time of late, played pretty well for Liverpool a couple of seasons ago, having signed from Southampton. He feels probably they owe him an opportunity, and vice versa.
Yeah, of course, he's had a couple injury hit seasons, but I think now that seems to be behind him. He'll want to get game time, and if he can make an impact here in these final 2 minutes, what a statement that would be to the manager.
Origi flicks the ball over Pereira. Albrighton is back, but Albrighton has lost it. Mane, was that a penalty? It's a penalty to Liverpool. Sadio Mane upended just to the left edge of the 6-yard box. A misunderstanding between Schmeichel and Albrighton. He'd done well to get back. Evans involved as well. There's a trip, there's a penalty. Leicester are incensed. Schmeichel, Pereira and various other players all arguing with the referee. Kavanagh, I don't think, will change his mind. We will see. He may well go to VAR. Is this a penalty? Let's look at the replay on the big screen. Albrighton initially wins the ball, then he gets into a bit of trouble because Schmeichel comes. Albrighton, I think, does make contact with Mane's leg.
Yeah, it's a penalty. He won't be overturning that. I'd be amazed if he did.
The ref was speaking on his earpiece for clarification, but there is definite contact from Albrighton on Mane. I know there's the age-old adage of, is there enough to force a player down, but that's almost irrelevant here. If there's contact and the player goes down like that, I'd be amazed if this is not a penalty kick.
Yeah, I'd be amazed. They're saying clear and obvious error. I don't think that's clear and obvious error.
Albrighton had done very well to win the ball initially, and then the trouble is, I think Schmeichel didn't need to come because Albrighton probably had it covered, maybe at the expense of a corner, but that would have been a lot better than this.
I think that he should have just took the initiative anyway, Albrighton, and cleared it. He shouldn't have worried about Schmeichel. You had the ball under control, just clear it out for a corner like you said and go again.
Wow. Still they look, and the penalty decision stands. That cheer from the crowd says it all. We tick to the final few seconds of time added on. This could well be, Hogan, the final play of the game. Brendan Rodgers, crestfallen, back at Anfield. He marches along the dugout. Jurgen Klopp, eyes to the heavens. He can barely believe the drama that's playing out. And Liverpool have a penalty. And it's not Mane, the man who won it, who'll take it. Salah, of course, is off the field, don't forget. James Milner will take penalty responsibility.
He's a top penalty taker, but this is one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League for saving penalties as well, so massive moment this.
James Milner against Kasper Schmeichel to keep Liverpool's remarkable winning run in the Premier League going. Right-footed, the England veteran sends the keeper the wrong way. It's buried into the left-hand corner of Schmeichel's net. James Milner, Jurgen Klopp, and the whole place goes ballistic. Liverpool leave it late, but they are going to down Brendan Rodgers' boys on their return to Anfield. Liverpool 2, Leicester 1.
You can see what a massive goal that is. The whole place has erupted. The manager looks absolutely delighted. You go into the international break and you're flying. That's 8 wins from 8. There'll be at least 5 points clear. This is just what they needed.
Hogan, what incredible drama. VAR, penalty, winning goal with seconds to go. I love the Premier League. I love football.
It's crazy. Leicester looked to be in a good position. They had the ball. You just think Albrighton kick it out for a corner. A bit of a mix-up between him and Schmeichel. Next thing you know, they're 2-1 down.
90 plus 5, the timing of that goal. Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. There has been another goal at Carrow Road. We will go there once we've wrapped up here. Can Leicester yet pull one back? Surely final play of the game. Pereira's delivery looking for Vardy. Lovren gets it half clear to Chowdhury, who's arguably lucky to still be on the field. There was a Chowdhury who injured Mo Salah earlier, who went off. The boos whistle around. Pereira still going for Leicester, about 35 yards out to Tielemans. They need to just find a way to get the ball into the box. Albrighton's delivery, half clear from Van Dijk, only as far as Tielemans. Back to Albrighton again, the man who gave away the penalty as he scampered across the cover. Back to Pereira, almost deafening whistles from the Liverpool faithful. Albrighton's delivery, the final whistle blows, and Liverpool somehow have got the job done and kept this magnificent winning run going. First thing Jurgen Klopp does, to his credit, is finds Brendan Rodgers. They embrace Liverpool managers new and old, and there's a scuffle breaking out on the field. Ayoze Perez is unhappy. Andy Robertson's getting involved, and fair play to Henderson, fair play to Vardy as senior pros who act as peacemakers to pull their players away. Ayoze Perez is very unhappy about something. Adrian has come across, Van Dijk is there as well. It's a bit of a sour way for this one to end, because even though it's not been jam-packed full of quality, it's been a brilliant game. Leicester have come to Anfield and given their all. They've been excellent. Liverpool, though, have shown they have enough in these tough games to get the job done. 1-0 against Sheffield United last weekend, 4-3 against RB Salzburg in the week, and now 2-1. Tight games, different kinds of game, but Liverpool keeps somehow delivering the goods. That's now 44 league home games unbeaten. It's 25 games unbeaten in both home and away, and most importantly 17 straight Premier League wins, 8 from 8 this season, and Liverpool played 8, won 8, 24 points, and for the best part of a day at least 8 points clear again of Manchester City as Jurgen Klopp's men try to win a Premier League title for the first time since 1990. Incredible stuff. It's finished Liverpool 2, Leicester City 1. Jurgen Ephraim, what do you make of all of that?
Breathtaking second half. It looked like Maddison had done enough with the equaliser, and you thought that Leicester were going to hold on, and then right at the death they get the win. Massive win. Look, you can see what it means to Klopp and the fans here. They're going crazy.
So Jurgen Klopp is celebrating in front of the fans with an array of very extravagant fist pumps. The fans love